8:30, guys. 8:30.
All right. We ain't gonna keep them long. We gonna be good, not long. We're not in it for a long time, just a good time. Hey, is everybody sound good, guys? We got good sound. I got a different setup here today. Hey, but I want to welcome everybody to HBCU Coaches Corner. I'm your co-host, Rocky Miller, along with the Rattler himself, after getting a victory this week. After getting a victory after a tough loss against Mississippi Valley. I hate to remind you, Coach, Mr. Campbell, but you were such a good sport last week. After the loss, y'all come back this week and get a victory in a really big game in the Florida area. So I appreciate you coming back and being a good sport about it. But the man, our featured guest, our featured host is my man, Johnny Cole. Coach Cole, before we get started, tell me how you doing, Coach.
Good, Coach, man. Just, hey, ready for this break, Thanksgiving week. Get to see a lot of family. And so I'm excited about this show, as I'm excited about every Tuesday show. And just ready to get started, man. And hopefully guys get in there. And if they want to ask questions, make sure you get all your questions. We're going to do a show at 8:30. We're going to cut it off, Coach.
That's what they say, but we'll see what happens, Coach. You know how we get going. You never know.
Yeah, I know, Coach. I know.
We're going to try to
put
do
some
right.
guardrails on it.
We're gonna try to do right, guys. We're gonna try to do right. So, but now with no further ado, Coach, we had some pretty interesting action in the SWAC this week, Coach, and also in the MEAC. None of it determined anything. It was really a exercise of just everybody playing. The MEAC was sold up, the SWAC was sold up, but nonetheless, there was good competition throughout the entire HBCU landscape. But there was what I would consider a huge surprise, and we can get into that while I'm loading up these slides, and talk about Tennessee State and what they were able to do and what ultimately happened because of what they did.
You know, Tennessee State won the second time, or third time in the history of the school of winning that conference. Better known as the OVC, is now called the Big South. They were 62. UT Martin was 62, as well as SEMO was 62. So you went by the tie record, then you went by who beat who, and then you go common opponent. And when you look at Tennessee State, the common opponent with UT Martin was Linwood, and Tennessee State had beat Linwood. So, that gave them the edge and naming them, the Big South. And I think still is co-champs, but I think they represent the conference. And so it's been a long time. It's been 24 years, as you guys know, that last time they won was I think this ring here, or it might, yeah. So, it was big. Or this ring, I'm sorry, this is the back-to-back. That's 98 and that's 99. So it was a big win for him, big win for Eddie George. I guess the question now is, can NFL players come in and win? I know he had big support. Of course, he's the highest paid coach in FCS. His staff is the highest paid staff in the FCS. Coordinators are making 120, and his lowest assistant coach is making 69. So they did some good things over there. The school was having some trouble, but you got to take your hat off to Tennessee State.
Hey, Coach, let me ask you this. I know you were not a huge fan of the celebrity coaching model to change the program, and I understand why. You're taking pretty much an inexperienced guy in most cases, plugging him in at the top spot, and he and like you pointed out, a lot of times it doesn't work, right? If you were to compare Deion and Eddie George, what were some of the similarities to what they were able to do? And then what were some of the differences that allowed both of them to be successful?
They had the support. They brought support with them, outside support. He had Coach Fisher. Eddie George actually played in Nashville, so he had all that behind him as well. He was able to hire a staff. He was able to go out and get money to redo the football fields. They got money to redo the locker room and the coaches deal. They had an old dorm behind the what they used to call the football field, the hole. So that was the biggest difference. When you look at the model behind Deion Sanders was the same way. He was even bigger. He had Under Armour. He actually had a lot of coaches there at Jackson coaching for free that people didn't know about. But when you know those type of people that made $4 and $5 and $1 million for the last 20 years of coaching, all they're doing is passing through. You know what I mean? So it ain't like a lot of that came out of Jackson State's pot as well as at Tennessee State. A lot of that didn't come out of Tennessee State's pot. It was between Fisher, Coach Fisher. Of course, his son is the defensive coordinator over there as well. So, those guys brought something with them. And everybody and all the NFL players can't do that. They, or a player coming from the NFL, they can't do that. Eddie George, he's marketable. He's the Heisman Trophy. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. And, you can't say enough about Deion Sanders. So, these guys had that following behind them.
Campbell, would you like to add anything or piggyback anything on that?
Man, I as somebody, I was super excited when Tennessee State hired Eddie George. Like I said, he had been around at university. He had, been in that town. And Tennessee State, Coach, we talked about this all the time. That's one of the blue bloods. We need Tennessee State to be good. And I felt that Eddie George, because of who he was and what he was, I thought it would happen a little bit faster. But what I did like is that he didn't get frustrated. He didn't get like a lot of guys who didn't have to do the job. Eddie George has a lot of things going on in a very positive way. He has an investment firm. He has marketing stuff he's doing. But the fact that he stuck with it and built a program now to get them to that level of winning and to go to the playoffs. And Coach, you know this because, like I said, you and your brother took that school to that level. This is a really big deal for Tennessee State. Now, the question what I'm going to get, me, I'm the challenger. So now I'm going to all my Tennessee State folks. I need you all to start showing up to these football games. They had 1,500 people at the last football game. This is not Tennessee State pride, tradition, that Tiger tradition going all the way back to Big John Merritt. You got to support that football team. So what I'm really hoping, again, they go up there and they play Montana. Again, that's going to be a tough game. It's going to be, as they say, it's going to be Snow White up there, Coach, literally and figuratively. So
ain't no question.
They're going to go up there, and like I said, I'm hoping that the defense stands up and give a good game and keep them in the game until the fourth quarter. And then you know what it is, Coach. If you can stay until the fourth quarter, you can try to win it at the end. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, I always say they're not the Tennessee State of old because they changed their whole schedule. They played Mississippi Valley. They played Lane College. They played Arkansas Pine Bluff. They played all the bottom schools in Black College. And that ain't Tennessee State. And none of those colleges have the band as your, Grambling, North Carolina A&T, Southern University. They played the big schools, Florida A&M. They played those schools every year. And they played in bowls. So I get it. They did what they needed to do to get that football changed around. That jump start, that lawnmower start. But it remains really to see, because you made a point there, Coach, they only had 1,500 fans at the last game. What's more important, a championship or getting that thing started, where I know when we were there, at Tennessee State, at homecoming, Coach, we had 44,000. we sold out the whole bottle of it. When we played Murray State in the 99 OVC championship, the bottom was sold out. You know what I mean? And then in 98, that's when the homecoming. So on one hand, you won, you got the program, the engine's back rolling. So we'll see. I think they got to do a better job of reaching out to the alumni, reaching out to the student body. And, like when we played also, the band used to march to the stadium. So I think what they need to do is probably try to, and this is some of the things that we talked about, redo the whole on campus. We do that stadium on campus. So everybody, you miss that. Keep going downtown. You miss that downtown. It ain't home. Home is the whole, where you playing this at the whole. So I think they really need to talk. They got the program now where it needs to be, but I think they need to start playing back on campus for the people who didn't know where the whole was. That's called holy ground. Some of the greats have played there. And that stadium is right on campus that they don't use anymore.
Well, that's the thing, and I'm gonna have to find. Like I said, my cousin is a professor. I'm gonna find out what I know. They built the stadium and they got the whole deal, with Nissan. So, is there never going to be a capital improvement to bring the stadium back, or is this just, hey, we over at the Titan Stadium, that's gonna be it forever? And then that's really disappointing. I think, again, there's a lot of politics that, that we've talked about on this show between the state of Tennessee and what they're doing at Tennessee State. Even now, they're trying to drag Glenda Glover down, an amazing woman that was the president, and she had to set them straight about the finances. So once again, I just really would like to see them possibly bring that stadium back, because like I say, that team and that school is just so prime, coach, like you said, to really support that team, especially on campus. Because like I said, you look at it when they were up there at First Take, look at all the people that were there. You know what I mean? Yeah. That energy that was there for First Take, for their homecoming. So it's there, it's ready to rock and roll. So I totally agree with you, coach.
Yeah, I know when we were there, we were actually played the last game in the hole. As they say, we ended up playing Texas Southern in 98. And then they had an ROTC building sitting in the end zone. So my understanding, they knocked that down, which we thought that you could make that out of a field house. But it was a land granted building, so you couldn't touch it. But now they've knocked that down. The stadium need to be a remake. And what they do to us, coach, just like they did to us at Texas Southern. These teams come in and they need the state taxes. You know what I mean? So they throw us a piece of bread, then we go in on the deal, and then all of a sudden, bam, here comes the stadium built. And then when you start going over there, it's not built for us. I had a part of designing some of that stadium in Nashville, when they came over and asked us what did we need in the locker room. And at that time, we we kept on saying, well, we would love to play in the hole. But, of course, stuff over our head and paycheck overruled that. But, and then also when at Texas Southern, it's the same thing. I think it just, you just lose ground and lose people away. It's just like having a party, 20 miles out. And shoot, people start riding, they start exiting, you know what I mean? And you end up leaving the place with 40 and only 10 make it. So maybe they'll look into that, and right now they got the football program going in the right direction.
Hey, Coach, I want to take a moment to address. We advertised that Coach Chennis Berry was going to be on the show tonight, and I apologize for that. We had him confirmed; he was booked, and all of a sudden we got a call this afternoon that he canceled. We don't know the circumstances surround why he canceled. At least I don't. Coach Cole, if you want, because you were the one that booked everything. So
yeah, well, sometimes you got to go by the rule. Everybody know it. I've been knowing Chennis from 20 some years, and we agreed to have him here. But it's a system that he has to go through, and when you're in that head coaching position, you got to be kind to the people on campus. So the SID, want to do things the right way, and he just didn't know that we had put the interview together. And, and I know how important it is, for Chennis not to burn any bridges, and not, make any enemies on campus. Sometimes you humble yourself, even though you the champion. You gotta humble yourself. So, I let Chennis know that I understand that he don't need no fires to be need to be put out. So we're gonna go by the rules, but it's definitely a done deal. Once next week come, we'll set a schedule to make sure we get him back on.
All right, Coach. Like I say, normally when you say it's a lock, it's a lock. And I was surprised and disappointed he wasn't able to be with us today. But like you say, rules are rules, and I'm sure he has a lot of demands on his schedule. Along with spending time with family during his time. He's the MEAC champion right now, first year coach. And I asked Campbell this, Coach. Campbell, how surprised are you that Chennis Berry won in his first year of him in the MEAC?
Listen, man, you guys have heard me talk about this a lot. Me and Coach talk about this a lot. If you want to be successful in HBCU football, have you a quarterback. He walked in there with a quarterback. 50% of the job was done. Now, Coach will tell you the other 50% is, can you coach him? He had the other 50%. So I think, guys, and I think we might have picked him third. Some of us picked him second. But we all said that game against North Carolina Central was probably going to determine that MEAC championship, and it did. So you're not surprised, man. The great thing and what I like about Coach Berry is that he looks the part. And not only does he look the part, he is the part. I remember when and again, and only, like I said, we don't talk about coaches. We talk to coaches on this show here, Coach. So we talk to the coach.
We don't get him fired. We get him hired.
Well, we'll get to that list at the end of the show. So the thing about it is that when you're talking to a Chennis Berry and you hear him talk about his plan of what his goals were and what he had brought in, and the thing about it that we found out, and I think this is a great learning lesson, Coach, he brought in winners. He brought in guys that understood what the mission was. So no, I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked, that he did that. And like I say, that team, and again, I think people got to understand something. South Carolina State is one of the most undercover blue bloods in HBCU land. They don't get the name recognition like a FAMU or Jackson State or Southern or even Tennessee State. But hey, man, they got a lot of national championships. They got just as many Hall of Famers as Jackson State, and they've got a whole lot of conference championships in the MEAC, more than FAMU. So you got to give them their respect, man. And he has built that program. And I tell you one thing about South Carolina, and people in that area will tell you, it is some great football players in that area. Great football players.
Well, I can say this. Coach Cole, since the very day he was rumored to be the head coach, Coach Cole, you said they got them a good one from the very start. Yeah. Like you knew he was. They got them a guy at the time. There were several openings in the SWAC, including Grambling and also
Texas
Southern, and Southern. And you said because they pulled the trigger so fast and went ahead and got Chennis, they got them a winner, and they probably got the best available. You were clear that they had made the best hire of that particular hiring cycle, no doubt.
Well, Coach Pugh, who was the head coach, they moved him to South Carolina State, who's a football guy. And see, this is what I'm talking about, a football guy. He had no other question, but Chennis was going to be the guy. Iron sharpens iron. And he knew off the rip, man, look, we ain't going to play with it. The man don't finish 2 winning seasons. And not just his winning, just how he handled himself, how he coaches team. He's old school. And it was a no-brainer. Why these other schools was playing around and trying to put together these what you call them, Coach, when you put together this team that's going to choose the next head coach, and you got the dorm director on this committee, and then you got the food guy on the committee, and then you got the board of trustee guy on the committee, and you got a alumni that ain't even played the game on the committee, and you put these together. Well, let's go out, let's find us a coach. No, that's what the athletic director's supposed to do. And if he wants to use, or talk to some people, about, hey man, what a coach look like, an athletic director should have in mind. I can't say enough about the process that we had at my alma mater that I thought was just crazy. It was just crazy. And South Carolina on the state, how many coaches they had in 40 years? I want to say 4.
4.
Yeah,
4.
I want to say 4. And 3 of those with Chennis now, they are nasty. These guys are highly respected, So people, and I always go back, and I can just remember when Eddie Robinson was on that bus on the SWAC tour, and I was a young, and he said, man, what's going to happen to the SWAC conference is when we start letting people make decisions that ain't never put a hat on or never put a helmet on, and unfortunately, man, I say he's right. He's right, and I keep saying 25% of coaches are winners. And what we always say, Rocky, winners, look at the resume. The resume gonna tell you, it's gonna tell you something. You know what I mean? We can go back and look at some of these coaches that's been selected. Good, bad, ugly. Let's just go back and look at their records. The record speaks for themselves, guys. If I want a salesman and he come in, I see he ain't sold nothing. Damn, Mr. Campbell, is that the one I need? No, I don't need that one. I want the top salesman, and I'm gonna pay him some top money. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead. That's my take.
No, I want to make a point, and this is, and again, I'll say it. It could be shade, whatever, how you want to take. I don't care. When you have to, not to say, because sometimes you do need to have people in the room, okay, for different ideas. But when it comes to me, when it comes to a coach, and you got to get 13, 14, 15, 20 people to select a coach, that lets me know what people think about the AD. That they don't trust the AD. That's what it is. So my thing is, when you have a strong AD that you trust, that knows the process, you don't need 20, 30 people, because when that AD speaks, you're gonna say, you know what, I trust it. Coach Pugh was the AD of South Carolina. He said, Chip, you didn't see the South Carolina State people say, oh, no. Ashley Robinson is the AD of Jackson State. You didn't see the Jackson State people say no to Prime and no to TC Taylor and no to Mo Williams and on and on and on.
And it didn't take 3 months.
Yeah.
It didn't take 3 months, Coach. So, and what does the food service person need to know about the coach? Is he gonna be nice? Well, hell no. If you're gonna feed my players, you're gonna have problems with me. Period. You know what I'm saying? What the maintenance guy? I'm gonna talk to the maintenance gentleman. You don't get my place clean, you're gonna have problems with me. But when you hire these nice guys, you know what I'm saying? That ain't pushing, because guys, you guys know, y'all been around. You got 11 times to do it right. Just 11. Once that 11 and now 12, you got 12 games. It's got to be right 12 times. You can't be worried about, what you're doing and where what you're eating and all that kind of stuff, man. You need people to work with
you. Mr. Cam, I want to ask you something, because this is something I've been wanting to ask you, but the season hadn't played out. The season is played out for pretty much, and I want to ask you this question. And this is not about excuses or nothing like that. I just want your fair assessment as a FAMU business person and a FAMU fan and alumni. How do you think the process of hiring the 19th head coach of FAMU affected how this season ultimately turned out?
Well, of course, you will have wanted a smooth transition. I think Coach Cozy was based off of the situation, I think Coach Coles is the right person. I still think Coach Coles is the right person. I think, again, the players are still playing. But what I would have wanted is that, and again, this is where the thing, did Coach Simmons want to stay? All that drama with that. But let's just say Coach Simmons decided, hey, I want to take my next challenge. Our AD should have said, you know what? Here are the people. Let's move on. Let's have a transition. She literally had a press conference with Willie. It should have been Coach Simmons, should have been Coach Cozy right there, and then everybody got behind it. But of course, she did it her way. It got convoluted. Different factions got involved, which, everybody, like I said, a lot of people put money in the FAMU, and then everybody got an opinion. But I think, once again, when you are trying to build consensus, you need to talk to people up front first, especially when you are new. When you are new and you don't know the lay of the land, you know who the people are, the decision makers are, and that's at every school. Let's not look. Everybody has people that are influential on that campus. Trust me. Every school has. I've met them. I've been all over the SWAC and half of the MEAC. I've met some very important people for these schools because they love their school. And trust me, stuff don't go down unless you holler at Jones, because Jones been around here since 1965. And Jones is giving $100,000 for the last 3 years because he liked that. So again, the thing about it is the transition. It's about how you do it. It's about making sure everybody's on board. But again, this goes back to what Coach is saying. If you are a person that has the talent and the strength to sell your vision to people, nobody questions your vision. I'm only going to question your vision if your vision is not clear, it's blurry. So that's when people, question your vision. But if you come out strong and say, this is the why I'm choosing somebody, this is what I believe, this is what the future is, you know what? Most people will say, you know what? I hear it. I see what you're saying. I'm going to support it. We didn't have that at FAMU. But I will say, for the Coach Cozy's credit, he took what he was dealt with. Hey, he got him in there. And like I say, he'll still, he's in a good shot to finish with a winning season.
Well, the reason why I asked the question is because I can't help but think about it as this. If you do a smooth transition, you give the administration of FAMU a chance to make a pitch for Smitty to stay one more season. Even if Smitty wanted to go, you make a pitch for Smitty to stay one more season. You also give Coach Henry an opportunity to maybe find something else and then hire your guy at OC. You know what I mean? But the way it went, Coach, you can speak to this. At the beginning of February, how many good guys are still available to bring on your staff at that point?
Well, my thing was when Cozy got the job, was he forced to keep everybody? Was it his choice to keep everybody? Did he see something in this OC or any of the coaches that would say, if I was coming in here new by myself, are these the guys I would hire? You see what I'm saying? So I don't know that. I'm one that when I come in, I'm cleaning house. 9 times out of 10, I'm a clean house because I want to get people in there that's my guys, my people. But in this case, I get it. All those guys were in place, when they won the national championship. But as you can see how much Coach Simmons had handles on everything. And they were doing things Coach Simmons' way. My question to you, Rocky, on asking him the question, does his record this year indicate that he ain't the right guy, or he didn't do the right things? Why was the question, asked? I'm just wondering. If he was it win or bust, or was it put a good product on the field?
Coach, based on expectations that I had for FAMU, right? I felt like they were clearly the second best team in the at least the second best team in the SWAC. I thought Alabama State had a leg up, and we know what happened with that situation. But I thought there was no doubt. And then for him for the team, and I cannot erase this from his resume, and it cannot raise question for him. for him to lose to Valley at home, right? We have to make serious consideration. Is he the guy? And I'm not saying he's not or saying he is, but that's, Coach, that is a monumental failure as a coach and a coaching staff for you to lose to a winless team at home when you have a 20-game winning streak. You have the talent advantage. You are supposed to have the coaching advantage, right? And obviously Bragg has proven to be a tremendous home field advantage, and you somehow lose that game. Coach, I don't know what that means, but I think 2, maybe 3 years down the line, they may look back at that as saying that may have been the indicator of something. And I'm not saying it is or it isn't, because again, Nick Saban lost to ULM his first year at Alabama, University of Louisiana Monroe. Yeah. So I'm not saying that he can't overcome this. I'm just saying, what does it mean? And it could mean something. If he has to have some success really quick, in my opinion, for thank you, baby. He has to have some success really fast for him to overcome that loss, in my opinion.
Well, let me say 2 things. Or do you want to comment, Coach?
Well, I'm just gonna say this on this, because this is the thing. I talk to a lot of people, and I get a lot of feedback, and this is what I'll say. Deion Sanders with the Colorado, he hired an offensive coordinator, he hired a defensive coordinator. They're not there this year. TC Taylor had an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. He looked at it, he reevaluated. Now they Swaggy's champs, and they, as they say, they got their logo, the trainers on the track. So, man, every team is going to have a challenge when you make a coaching change. It's just what it is. Look, Kalen DeBoer, who has everything, every advantage in the world, and Alabama is right now sitting on the outside looking in on the playoff. So we won't know. And and one thing about me, I'm not no short-term type dude. And I'm never going to be that, because if people took a short-term on me, I wouldn't be right here right now. So I always tell people, don't judge me today. Talk to me today and see what I do tomorrow. So that's the thing about it. So I'm going to say the same thing about Coach Cozy. I'm not going to sit back and say, listen, man, okay, I'm going to say this for the last time. Yes, we lost to Mississippi Valley. No, we shouldn't have lost to Mississippi Valley. Okay, that's it. So the question is, again, but I'm going to say this. The University of Virginia was the #1 team in basketball. They lost to a Sweet 16. They lost to the #1 seed, and then the next year they won the national championship. So what you are today doesn't mean what you are tomorrow. So the thing that I'm going to say is Florida A&M is still Florida A&M. Kids want to get a great education. It is in Florida. Kids want to play football there. And one thing I will say, he will not have a problem at least calling people to see if they want to come to FAMU. So we'll see what happens next year. And that's my thing on that. So, because like I said, again, we can sit back and because, again, I remember the Jack State people, and it was, again, small fraction. Oh, the coaching, and they need to get stronger. And TC said, yeah, I'm going to be all right, and beat everybody's ass. Good
Thoroughly.
this year. You see what I'm saying? Now we don't hear none of that. Now we don't hear that. We had TC Taylor on here, and I talked to TC. Like I said, I know who he was as a player. I know who he played for. I know he loved that school. So he knew what it was. Trust me, Cozy is from Florida. He knows what it is. He knows what it is. Coach Cozy's going to be all right. He's a champion. He'll be fine.
Yeah. I just wanted to, just ask your opinion on the how the process affected Cozy's ability to put together a staff, and because the process really put it in place where the other assistant coaches that you may have wanted to keep, i.e. Smitty, he had to make a decision once he was given the opportunity. You understand what I'm saying? Because he didn't know how it was going to play out. If Cozy's not selected, then no guys may be out of a job. And so that may be why Smitty elected to go to somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, going back to that time, I can remember things on why some people wanted Cozy. One, he was supposed to have kept the team together,
which he did.
Okay. And so they had a good team coming in. He was supposed to be a good recruiter. He brought over 50 transfers in, 40 transfers, 30 transfers. So one would say that that would put you in question on, do you evaluate talent? You know what I'm saying? And so those are things that I thought. And then number three, the most important, I've experienced being a great team and lose to a terrible team. At Southern University, we were 9-0, playing Nickel State, who was 0-9, and they actually beat us. They beat us. The weather was terrible, and they ended up beating us, but we went on to go win the national title. So those things can happen. But when you say, okay, he's kept the championship team together, he's went out and got over 40 transfers, you would think that the problem with Campbell, what you saying about Alabama's coach, he 8-2. He got 8 victories, you know what I mean? Or some other people, they got big winning seasons, as opposed to Florida A&M. Once they failed, they kept falling off a little bit. So that part, I could see.
He's a first-time coach, and he's a first-time.
Yeah, and I could see people having concern. But I understand too, Coach Campbell, what you're saying is, hey, maybe he hadn't got his philosophy all the way over to the kids. So I look forward to next year, and hey, as they say, man, the clock is on. The clock's on, Coach.
We can go through these couple games because I think there's some really some things I'd like to kind of flush out at the end of the show related to some coaching moves that have been made. So this is what we got. Any of this surprise y'all? We kind of thought this went the way we thought it would go. With Elon.
I really thought SEMO, Tennessee State jumped out on SEMO. They jumped out on them 21-0. They spotted them, and they held on for dear life. And that says something about Tennessee State, Coach George, having those kids fired up and ready to go. So my hand, they get a big clap for me.
Yeah, I gotta give them a bow, man. That's one hell of a accomplishment considering the state of black college football as it pertains to especially the SWAC teams when they play the whites. The SWAC takes it out on the chin a lot of times against a lot what you would consider not as formidable competition, but. And they went. They in that district. In that conference, they took care of business and was able to get a share of the title.
Hey, I want to make a quick point, and okay. I think Coach is going to appreciate this. Let me tell you guys something, because a lot of times, and this is what's so great about the HBCU Coaches Corner and things like this. That quarterback for SEMO, that kid had thrown for 3,500 yards, 3,300 yards coming in that game. Okay, that kid was tossing that ball. And he only threw for 233 yards, and they only ran for 75 yards. Right. They only ran. Hey, Tennessee State brought the wood in that game. That was old school John Merritt, Tennessee State football. Richard Dent, front line. Was Al Harris they played down there? Another defensive tackle I'm thinking about, Coach. You know what I'm talking about? That was old school. You're not going to run the ball, and we are going to play well. Draylon Ellis, 20 or 31, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hey, McGee had 73 yards. They had 136 yards rushing. Tennessee State came ready to play and shut that team down. So we got to give those guys credit for Coach having that team prepared and ready to go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely.
All right, let's go to the next slate of games. Now these games come out of the MEAC. NCCU did what they were supposed to do. I thought, in a rivalry game, I thought Howard would show up a little better than they did, but Morgan put belt to ass.
Well, Howard lost a lot of people. They had a senior team last year. They had a senior team, and it's showing that they didn't do a good job replacing them because they kind of fell off, way off. But hey, Norfolk again. 21 points. And Rocky, we was there. He probably rushed 300 yards, but he only scored 21 points. And he probably said at the press conference, we ran the ball down their throat.
Coach, me and you, we were at the press conference after the SWAC MEAC challenge.
Yeah.
And then we took we had a pretty good drive back to our hotel room. And you talked to me, if it's one thing that you run clear to me, is that you had a problem with Coach Odom's declaring that game a moral victory. And you felt like that's not what you want to, when you're playing a team like Florida A&M who's on your level, you shouldn't come out of that game thinking that you have a moral victory. You should come with that team, with the mindset. And you have to go back and look at the press conference to understand what I'm saying, a moral victory. He really congratulated Florida A&M and said, they did a lot of good things, but they literally led the game the majority of the game. You know what I mean? And and then he declared that what they did was great and they'll be better moving forward. And you didn't like.
I think when you sat in that seat, the head coach's chair, and you believe in what you do and what it's about, that he sit down with anger, as of, oh, y'all thought they were going to crush us. Well, he was coming into his fourth year. My fourth year, I'm ready to rock and roll. Damn Florida A&M and championships. It's my time now. And I would have been hot and upset. And he came at the media. Remember, he came at the media. We just took the SWAC champion, the national championship team to the wire, and we rushed for 275 yards. We ran up and down the field. And I'm saying, first year coach Cozy, 4-year coach Odom, who's got vast experience. No. I should have been saying we should have had that call. We made a bad call down there on the 1-yard line. Maybe we should either kick the field goal or we should have called a better play. And we got to be better as a team, and we let them people off the field. We supposed to have won that football game. Mm-hmm. I didn't hear that. I heard I'm just happy that we were there. We ran the ball
and
good.
The game was competitive.
Yeah. That what I want to hear for a 4-year coach. You see what I'm saying? No. A 4-year coach, man, we supposed to win those. You know what I mean? When you got a 1-year guy coming in as a coach. Because now you got everything about who I am as a person and as a coach within your team, and knowing that, guys, this is our year. So that kind of, and Coach Odom is a good coach. Let me make sure I say that. But sometimes, man, you just gotta have that. You gotta have that confidence going in. Moral victories in your 4th year. My understanding is they made some movements, and I know we'll get into that. That's what expected, Coach. That's just what expected.
All right. Next up is these were SWAC games right here. There were no implications on this games, Coach. They had only pride on the line last week, Coach. What do you think? How do you guys think it turned out with only pride on the line?
Well, of course, you guys know I called the Alabama A&M game Mississippi Valley. I think out of these 3 games, I think I seen a Mississippi Valley team that was 1-9 that really came out and played. I think Nathan Winberg, wide receiver for Valley, is the real deal. He's one of the top wide receivers, and the other top wide receiver in this league is Hamburg over at Alabama, Keenan Hamburg at Alabama A&M. and they both showed up and showed out. I mean, that Wimber kid is unfreaking believable. He plays every position on the football field. And that game was 28-28 in the first half. You know, neither team could stop neither team. But both teams got to get their defense. They at the bottom in defense. And I think Coach Maynard at Alabama A&M, you know, same thing, same place. I think, you know, he's got a good system offensively over there. He just got to be able to stop some people, Coach. He put points on the board. He just got to be able to stop some folks. So I was excited. But the kid, I heard the kid Nathan Remberg, he's gonna be entering his name in the portal. And I think we got the kid from Arkansas Pine Bluff as well, wide receiver, has already entered his name in the portal. So we're gonna lose some teams, lose some players already to the portal.
You know, let me say something about the kid Rembrandt. You know, he's from Florida.
Is that the kid from Mississippi Valley?
Yeah, from Mississippi Valley, right.
Rembert.
Yeah.
I just said that, Coach, because my producer was in my ear.
Thank you.
Coach, it's Rembert. It's Rembert.
And let me tell you something. And my grandma say, always pronounce a man's name right. That's respect.
Yeah.
So Rembert. So that young brother, I tell you one thing, I know what he was. He was fire against FAMU. That's what he was. But the fact that to see, and this is where the portal hurts me, but this is why I can respect it. The young kid played football in high school. They looked at him and said, because he's only a few inches taller, maybe he's taller than me. You know what I mean? Probably the same height, to be honest. When I looked at him, sized him up, and this kid had heart. He went to Edward Waters. He produced there. Yeah. He goes to Mississippi Valley and produces there. And now he's going to say, I'm going to take my dream potentially to another level. You can't be mad at that in a way. Because that's what, in a way, is America. You work, you work hard, you look for opportunity. Now, what hurts me is that he got the Valley and they can't build with him. Coach Wade can't say, you know what, to the next group of guys, hey, we got this kid over here. You come over here. We can have a dynamic duo. Hey, you come be the quarterback. We can have, that's the thing that just kind of hurts me with the transfer portal a little bit, is that you get to see that. But now,
I'm going to say, if they didn't have that kid, Coach, they would be 0 and just keep giving them 0 and 11 year after year after year. Because that kid can do it, boy. He's the whole team. Coach, every play went to him. Screen touchdown.
X, Y, and Z.
What? In the back. He came out of the backfield, Coach. He called an under route and went all the way. Coach, he showed up, man, and showed out. Coach, he was the real deal. Prairie View, Alabama State. Well, Alabama State was going to play great defense. Prairie View been struggling all year. The question was asked to me on my interview yesterday with Mr. Cooper, Ralph Cooper, who's been doing this for at least 40 years plus. And he's interviewed some of the greats, the Houston Oilers, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali. I can't say enough about him. He's like a godfather to me. You know what I mean? He's always kind of watched over me. But the question was why did they let Bubba go? And of course, again, we'll get into that, and I'll talk about that. But this is the reason why. You can't. You got to be able to win some games. And talent-wise, I think Prairie View was there, but they never show up, or show out. I think, I take my hat off to Terrence Graves. This kind of say about Terrence. Terrence Southern, struggled, but he was able to win games. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about winning games. Sometimes it ain't how you win it, it's winning. And those are things I think that kind of hurt Prairie View this year.
I want to talk about something. And again, this is just one of those days. I just want to start giving kids flowers. And that kid, Kareem Key, that was forced, had to play quarterback when his natural position is wide receiver. And to see that kid battle every game, knowing the pressure that was on him. Because, guys, you got to remember something. Alabama State was predicted for a lot of people to win the SWAC. The two quarterbacks go down, the third quarterback goes down, and then you go to a young man who I believe is a freshman. And he's the fourth, like I said, he had, as coach said, played quarterback in high school, was not coming to Alabama State to be a quarterback. And man, this is what is great about sometimes when you watch HBCU football, because you got to see just a kid with heart. That again, he wasn't out there tossing 30 touchdowns, but all I saw is that little joker running and throwing and keeping his team in the game to win it. He made one play in this game and it was enough for them to win it. So I just want to, hey, Key, listen, and whoever knows this young man, I'm going to give you your flowers, because there's nothing harder to do a job that nobody expected you to do. There's nothing harder in the world. And I just really, we got so many kids that in all of our schools had to move position, had to play positions, but we always talk bad about them. But this kid was on a team that wanted to win it. And they, listen, they gave FAMU all they wanted, and they gave Jackson State everything they could give them. And that kid did the best he could. So I just really want to put that out there for that kid. I just wanted to say that, even though, again, the score was 6-9, but just watching this kid, because, of course, we watch those games every day, every week, and I just saw this kid just battling, and I said, man, that kid right there is somebody I would love to have on my team, no matter what position he plays.
Yep. Yeah, like I say, that I think there's something to be said about the grit that Alabama State showed as a team and this season, and considering what happened to them. And I think it speaks volumes about what their culture is, and they were able to really compete each and every game. And really, to be honest with you, they gave what I believe will be the conference champion the best game they played all year. They gave them, to me, they lost against Grambling, but I think the Alabama State game was far more competitive if you just looked at the numbers. You know what I mean? It was much more competitive game because they were able to hold Jackson State, I want to say, close to 100 yards rushing. No one even came close to that at any point this season, including ULM. And so hats off to Coach Robinson and his staff and what they were able to do with being as shorthanded as they were offensively. All right. Cowboy, tell us about this one. I'll let you tell us about this one.
Hey, man, listen. As they say, as long as you win, that's all that counts. But I will say there was a lot of rattlers in Orlando at the end of that second quarter, when that kid ran that kick back. Hey, man, we got kind of nervous. But, hey, I'm going to say this. Coach Cozy made a decision. He went to Coach Burris to be the offensive coordinator, and this is what a lot of people asked for. And we saw the offense kind of get unlocked. And we saw some more dynamic play call. We saw more passing situations where you didn't know if we were going to pass or run. So, for us, I'm just going to tell you, the 38 points were kind of concerning. Special teams gave up a touchdown, still some breakdowns in that defensive backfield. 21, bless his heart, had a little bit of trouble. But, hey, the offense came to play, and, hey, the rushing attack, Thad Franklin, hey, MVP of the game, 26 carries, 195 yards, 3 touchdowns. Had more touchdowns this game than we had for the whole season on rushing. Kelvin Dean came to play. Hey, man, get them those Dean dozens down there at Krispy Kreme. He had 14 carries, 103 yards, and 1 TD. And again, 305 yards for the Rattlers rushing, man. Daniel Richardson only had to go for 180 yards, 14 to 21 touchdown, 1 interception. Hey, Rattlers, like I say, 4 in a row against Bethune-Cookman. Again, did we want it to be what we should have been? But I think there was a couple of touchdowns that, again, we gave one up on special teams. We gave one up on the half. So I think we take those 2. I think Rattlers really would have been excited about the win. But again, I think the most important thing, and my friend always told me this, Coach, you know this, to stop a losing streak, you always got to win one. So if Coach Cozy stopped that losing streak, he kept the winning streak. He kept the winning streak intact with the Florida Classic, and now he got to finish out the regular season and start a new home winning streak against Alabama A&M. So you know what I mean? I'm going to take the glass half full, not the glass half empty. So 41-38 the Rattlers.
Yeah, guys. I think this was a good victory for FAMU, and I think it was a good showing for Bethune-Cookman. To be honest with you, it was probably their best showing that I've seen. And so shout out to Coach Woodard. But I think this was a super competitive game, and it surprised me because I went into the game thinking it was going to be a mollywop. I thought it was going to be an angry Rattler team that was going to show up to be the inferior team. And Bethune-Cookman really had some fight. You can see that this game meant a lot to them.
Well, they do these type of games, and I guess this is bring your kind of inexperience, Rocky, of not knowing HBCUs, man. You can throw those records out the door, man. It's gonna be a battle to the end. For some reason it's always like that. It ain't never just one team. Could be struggling the whole year and come in the game and just play lights out. So it don't surprise me that it was that close. And my hat go off to both coaches. They both had the team ready to go and they put a good show on. How many fans, Coach?
56,000 showed up.
56,000.
Hey man, they still go. 56,000 came down there to Orlando and showed up and showed out.
Wow.
People.
That's tradition.
Hey man, that and that's the great thing about it, man. When a classmate of mine, Eric Butler, a lot of FAMU people know it's my freshman brother, and he made a post. There's a difference between the homecoming crowd, Coach, and the classic crowd. The classic crowd, that's your folk, that's your people that just love to be around the Black college experience. They might not never set foot on those two campuses, might not never been in those cities, but they are there to show up and show out. So man, just to see all the people come and to still once again support those schools, man. And like I say, to see all the extracurriculars, man, is always beautiful. I haven't been down there. I was telling a friend, I haven't been down since the game when it first moved to Orlando. So again, I think next year I'm gonna have to go and make it down there.
Outstanding.
Okay.
So let's go to this last one, the Soul Bowl. It was a soul beatdown. It was I guess you can throw the record.
You can't throw the records out on this one.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Yeah, Jackson State is a juggernaut, guys. You said it very early in the season, Coach Cole. Regardless of whether we wanted to acknowledge it or not, I think to be honest with you, Coach Campbell was slow to the party. I kind of got on board just understanding that they were a dominant run team and they were going to use that running game to, all the way to dominating the SWAC. Mr. Campbell was slow to the party, but they are who they are. And again, they ran for over 300 yards against.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm slow to the party, and I was the only one that said I had them 1 and 1A. You two guys didn't even pick them. I did. So ain't nobody. So see, this is what I'm saying, man. Listen, we don't do alternative facts on the HBCU Coaches Corner. You guys had Alabama State. Both of you guys.
You picked Jackson State to win it.
What I said was.
No, that ain't what he did.
No. Hey, pull the tape. I said I have FAMU and Jackson State 1 and 1A. That's exactly what I said. And I said I said that they were better than everybody else in the SWAC. So I was not slow. What I said was, so not to misquote it, we were talking about all-time great teams. That's what I was talking about, not this particular season. They are the best team this season. There is not even close. Hey, man, listen, I'm going to give them credit. But what I will say is, I'm going to tell you this, what I think. They took that loss last year in the vet personal. And they came down I-20 and it made that little side road exit, Coach. You know what I'm talking about? And got stuck on that little one lane and say, listen, we coming out here with this W. And I think that had a lot to do with it because, man, listen, everybody, if you are from Mississippi, you know what this game means. you know what people are going to say. And I'm going to say the one thing about that Alcorn bunch. That Alcorn bunch is a proud bunch. They are a proud bunch. And when you come down that reservation, they're going to be loud. They're going to be ready to go. And Jackson State said, y'all going to be quiet today. So, hey, man, 48-10 to Jackson State, just a quick, stats. Jacoby Morgan, hey, man, game manager of the year. Got to give it to him once again. 12 of 20, 211 yards, 2 touchdowns. Herb Mulligan, my player of the year for the SWAC. 14 carries, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hey, Jonas Fortillon, they call him SWAC T.O. I call him Jackson State Chris Burkett 2.0 for all the real people that know Jackson State football. 4 receptions, 91 yards, 1 TD. Isaiah Spencer had a TD. Hey, man, just a well-rounded victory. Again, Alcorn only 10.7 in the first half, 3 in the second half. And I think this broke that streak where Jackson State didn't let anybody score in the second half. So, and they only gave up 3 because I think they had, went 3 or 4 games where nobody scored in the second half. So this team is ready, man. This team is locked and loaded. They've got Southern coming to the vet. And, man, Jackson State say, hey, man, we want to see y'all in Atlanta in a few weeks.
Now, Coach, you went all the way back to Chris Burkett.
Hey, man, because I know, see, Coach, listen, Coach, let me say something. See,
he can
a lot of these
play, Coach.
Hey, listen, he could play. And that's why I say to these people that say they want that, and these folks didn't come into Deion Kane. I know Jackson State football.
But these NFL players you talking about too, Coach. When me and you go way back, they these NFL players.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, a swag T.O. No, man, you got to know that history, man. That boy looks like Chris Burkett. Actually, a guy that played at Jackson State. How about you learn your history, youngsters?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Come on, man. So I had to give it to him, Coach. So, no. Hey,
quick reference. Chris Burkett or Jimmy Smith?
No. Jimmy, listen, let me tell you something. Listen, me and Jimmy grew up together, okay? I played football. Fun fact. Hey, this is not it, Coach. You're going to hear this.
I played against Burkett.
Yeah, you did.
Jimmy,
you did.
Yeah,
Jimmy and I played with each other all the way through the 8th grade. Safety. When he moved to Wine and graduated, I took it right behind him. I stopped growing. Jimmy kept growing. You see what I'm saying?
Coach said they played all the way to the 8th grade.
Through, Coach. Hey, I'll call my mother. She'll tell you, Coach.
High school.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, Holy Family Catholic. Hey, Jimmy will tell you. St. Joe, Jimmy will tell you. But what I'm saying, Chris Burkett was a taller guy, Rocky. A straight line guy. Jimmy was in that Michael Irvin mode.
Yeah.
Of a type of receiver. Can get and was football fast. And Jimmy was always, I'll go back to Callaway High School. He was football fast. If you say, hey, let me put the clock on him, he gonna run 4.5. But like I said, you never saw anybody catch him at Callaway, Jackson State, Jacksonville Jaguars.
I wouldn't put him at that wide receiver. I would put him at some of those fast wide receivers playing in the NFL. Like a Bruce Earl and those type of guys. Michael Irvin is kind of a big target, but Jimmy was. Whew,
he's talking about Fertillion. Yeah. He's talking about.
They were calling Fertillion the SWAC T.O. Coach, and I was trying to give them a Jackson State reference. To say that the kid was more like Chris Burkett, who actually played at Jackson State.
He was real deal.
Yeah.
But Burkett play for? Did he play for the Browns or
play for Buffalo? Didn't he, Coach?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go on. Let's go on to this where we can preview a few games. We only got a couple, and then we can start talking about the bad news people got today or yesterday. Now this game ain't nothing on the line. Playing for pride. I'll let Campbell go ahead and tell me what got to happen in this game.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you this is simple. Fam, you got to win this game. Point blank, period. And this was the dangerous game that I thought, and this game is even more dangerous because it's sitting at the end of the season. FAMU usually ends their season with the Florida Classic. Now, the kids are going to be out of school. A lot of people's Thanksgiving weekend. I don't know if the man is going to be there. I'm hoping that the man is going to be there. But this is what I think Coach Colsey really shows that, hey, we have turned the page and we're getting ready for next season. So, listen, Coach Cole said it best. Alabama A&M can score. We've struggled all year to score over 21 points. We played this past week, we scored 41. To win this game, Coach, we got to get 35.
At least.
I think that's the number. We got to get 35, and we cannot have the breakdowns. I think if we get, but coach, and you know this very well, in a game like this at home, you got to get up first. You got to get up first.
Both teams defense struggle stopping the run, you know, and they got a hell of a tailback in Donovan Eagle with A&M.
Yep.
He's a beast, you know, and they got quarterback. They got some wide outs and they can get open. You know, they go always play the number game. You know, whatever you got on top, whether you got two high safeties on top, you know, they're gonna throw it. If you got one safety on the bottom, you know, they're gonna run the ball. They're gonna throw it, coach. They're gonna spread you out, and they're gonna throw the football, man. And the quarterback Cornelius Brown is 6'5", 225 pounds. He can make every throw. He can throw it off his back foot, side foot, every throw. You know, and then they'll bring in Xavier Lanford, the backup quarterback. Then they really get into the pounding ground game. So it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah. Now I think this is gonna be an entertaining game, but this is a game. I just be honest with you, for the Rattler Nation, a lot of people are all gonna be on pins and needles until this game is over with a Rattler victory. To be honest with you, because here's the thing, Rock. I will say this. You know, we talked about it. Coach Cozy, he wins this. He finishes 7-5. He finishes 7-5, and he can go in and say, "Hey, you know, on a 2-game win streak, and be ready to go." So, like I say, Coach Cozy, we believe in you. We think the team, and you know, Coach and D. Rich, I think is going to pull it out, and I think Gas is going to have a big game.
Yeah. All right, man. Got the playoff. The Big Blue just got to go up there, man. And you know, I've been to one of those playoff games. You know, it's big time. They treat you real good. But when that buzzer go off, you got to be ready to play. When I was at Tennessee State, we played Appalachian State, which everybody know about Appalachian State, great program. And then we played North Carolina A&T. But I had my first quarterback tore his knee up, and then in the game in the first quarter, the second quarterback dislocated his shoulder. So we weren't able to finish up the game, and we only had 3 quarterbacks. So the freshman came in and he shit it out. He pissed all over himself. So it made it tough for us to win our first playoff game. But, you know, Tennessee State got his work cut out for him. So the other one?
So, Coach, you know, Montana Grizzlies. This, you know, I always find this real interesting when I hear these arguments about when the HBCU and where we stand in a hierarchy in FCS, right?
I mean, I think this is a chance.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. I didn't know if Rocky was saying something, but Coach, you know the thing about it, you gotta understand something. This is the University of Montana. This is the flagship school of a state.
Yeah.
You know, so again, when you look at it and you see they're playing a state flagship school versus Tennessee State, there's a lot of imbalance there. But the one thing about it is, and Coach, and we know this, you know, resource-wise and things like that. But I will give Tennessee State credit that they didn't get the last seed. They clearly had a respect from the committee. Because they're playing, I think Montana's the 14th seed, so they're not playing, you know, playing all the way up to the 8th or 9th seed. So I think, you know, again, people respect a little bit of who and what, you know, Tennessee State is.
Yeah. You still with us, Rocky?
Rocky looked like he froze. Maybe that cigar got him, Coach.
yeah. I think, and I didn't make slides for the
Rocky, breaking up. We can barely hear you. Your screen is frozen. You might have to jump back in and jump back out.
Oh, okay. Rocky, they hey, look, he must have done something wrong. They put him out in the garage.
Listen, Coach, listen. When they put you out in the garage, Thanksgiving, you know something going on good in that kitchen. So that's a good thing. Well, Coach, let me ask you this question while Rocky is getting reset. You have played in these games against the PWIs and things like that, and we've talked about this ad nauseum. Again, when you are, does it ring in the back of your head that you are a HBCU playing a PWI, or is it just simply football? Or because fans, we make a big deal out of this. Oh, they're playing a
I can hear you.
white PWI and we're a little HBCU.
Yeah.
Or is it just really it comes down to just being football?
Well, it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both, because on the facility side and on the support side, they have more. You know what I mean? There's more. And then when you're playing these good PWI teams, you can see that. You can see how they dress. You can see, they got 20 coaches down the side. They got 20 trainers. They got media going. They got fanfare going. So it's a little different. It's a little different. But at Tennessee State, you actually play them every week. So you really become them. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to being at an HBCU school outside the conference. So when you play them, it is a nuance of okay, hey, we got to have our A game on, and and I had both experiences as a player. They used to whoop our ass, and then as a coach, where I could make a difference, I used to whoop their ass. So because I understood the dynamic of the game, but there is a difference. It's in the air. If you play them at their place, of course, don't nobody hardly show up, and of course, when you play at our place, they really come see the band.
Right.
And then sometimes when they making deals, they make a deal that you have to bring your band. They'll pay you to bring your band there. And then they know when you bring your band, they'll get more people to the game.
Now, Coach, me and you could talk about this. The SWAC has never won a playoff game. Tennessee State has won one. Tennessee has won, let's say that, because I don't have statistics. FAMU has won. South Carolina State has won. And I believe North Carolina A&T has won a playoff game. Why do you think it is so hard for HBCUs to perform in the playoffs?
Well, I don't think it's that. I think it's about competition. That you're playing. Are you prepared? Most HBCUs are in hot climates, and it gets late in the year. You know what I mean? Nutrition is one. That probably plays a role. Support staff plays a role. And then most of the time you're going for that hot climate, they're playing somebody up in a cold climate. That plays a part. Preparation plays a part. Because now you got to stay, like now the kids are going into the playoff, now they got to stay. And then everybody is scrambling around because nobody's prepared and our kids are not eating well and where they going to stay and all that kind of thing. Where they don't have that problem and that issue. They already prepared for those times and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of outside things that go on, just let alone, when it start coming down to the coach and all the kids prepared and stuff, because you fighting through stuff. And then just going through the whole year of some of the administrative things that you got to go through as a head coach at an HBCU school.
Coach, it used to be a big joke when Jack State would win the conference every year and they would go to the playoffs. And we're talking about teams that had first rounders, multiple NFL players, and they play again. And I think what people don't understand, the Boise States, the Louisiana Techs, the Georgia Southerns, and schools like that didn't even have
that are now all 1A.
All 1A, right. And it used to be the joke is that after Jack State played Alcorn, they were like, we don't need to play anybody else. We ready to go to the NFL. Why are we playing this game against a team we never heard of? And you would be so disappointed because you would look at the players that they would have on Jackson State's team, or in Grambling, same way. You would look at these guys that were going to the NFL, and then you would see them play Louisiana Tech or Georgia Southern, and you're just like, how did they lose to them? Right. But I think a lot of what you said has to do with that. and everything. And I think that's one of the big challenges now, especially now, the financial strain and disbursement is starting to really come into play. Back then, it wasn't as big of a gap. You know, I mean, these guys didn't, like I say, Boise was a junior college back then, basically, you know, when they had come up and Jack State had to play them and all those guys. So I just thought that was just interesting because I hear this argument or discussion a lot about why can't we beat PWIs, where again, a lot of MEAC teams are showing that you can, to your point, Coach. They're showing Eddie George, like you said, plays them, shows that they can be beaten. So again, I think that for us and me as just a huge fan of HBCU football, I really, Coach, and I'm saying that I don't know if this is one of our best chances again, but to your point, I know Tennessee State won't be intimidated, to your point.
Well, one of the things is Miles College already made a run in the playoffs. They
you know
beat
what?
them. I think this year, if we go back this year, I think HBCUs have beat more PWI schools than probably ever before. You know, I really think that. You know, Central beat some, Norfolk beat one. I think. You know, I think a couple schools jumped out and really, you know, took it to some PWI schools. And of course, you can't say enough about Tennessee State, but we ought to look at that. I really think Morgan State won one or two, or Howard or Hampton won one or two. But I know they're in different conferences now, so they got to get their game up and their support up.
Now, Coach, and you know what? Listen, you said something. Now, Coach, once again, HBCU Coaches Corner with Johnny Cole. Coach, we talked to coaches. We talked to a champion coach, Sam Shade, who beat Carson Newman. You know, let's talk a little bit about that, because we're talking about giving people flowers, and Coach talking about this because Sam Shade is going to be a hot topic for these coaching openings and things like that.
And he should. He should. Not only that, I mean, he's got an outstanding coaching staff. He's got an outstanding pedigree. You know, he's a national championship guy. He played under great coaches, as well as his coaches played under great coaches. You know what I mean? You played for the University of Alabama back in the day and was the leader of that program. So you know what type of man he is, what type of human he is, and that carries over to your team. You know, it's one thing, Campbell, about a coach, a head coach, a championship head coach. A lot of times, that's who they are as people. You know, how they were raised, you know, as people. That carries over to your football team. You know what I mean? What type of character, integrity you have. That carries over to your football team. And, you know, because I've talked to a whole bunch of coaches, and I can get a feel of a guy that I know, you know, like I know Chennis Bear. You know what I'm saying? I know now Sam Shade, that we had, you know, great conversation and just to hear his philosophy and how he carries himself. You know what I'm saying? You know, Sam Shade is what you call a silent assassin. You know, he's a quiet man, but when he get to talking, you can see, you know, the energy behind it. So, and then that's why, you know, when I'm talking, you know, some people behind closed doors, well, Coach, you shouldn't share all your secrets about, you know, it's about who you are, I think. It ain't, you know, I might tell somebody, oh, well, like we talked to other, I don't like dreads and stuff. You know what I mean? And then one coach said, okay, well, then that's what I'm going to do. But if that ain't what you really believe in, you know, you easy going to get there and you're going to be looking around at great players and be like, no. They can do whatever they want, you know. So I'm getting to the championship coaches are championship people, man.
Now, Coach, Miles is going to be playing Valdosta. I believe they're undefeated. They're number 1 seed, I believe, in that region.
Yeah.
And Tremaine Jackson is a Texas Southern alum, Coach.
No, he's a University of Houston alum. He coached me at Texas Southern.
Oh, he coached at Texas Southern. Sorry.
He did play football at Texas Southern, but he ended up finishing at University of Houston.
Okay. Well, we're gonna give him Texas Southern.
Okay.
So he played transferred to University of Houston, and then came back and coached at Texas Southern. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We make sure we're accurate here on the Coach's Corner. But I'm pretty sure he still claims those Tigers. Now the question is, Coach, we've got 2 young black head coaches that a lot of people are saying, hey, this is the next group of guys. Now, Coach, I know we've heard the noise. We love our boy Scotty. He's the celebrity head coach, celebrity head coach. They come with resources. But, Coach, tell me, why do you think potentially that Tremaine Jackson and a Miles College Sam Shade coach would probably be a better fit for some of these openings that are coming up?
Well, they've been taught under great coaches. You know what I mean? They know the system. Tremaine knows the system. Tremaine was with me everywhere I went. You know, every meeting, how I handle stuff, he was always right there. Sam Shea has a support staff that's good. You know, I can't say enough about George Pugh and the other coaches that he have on his staff. He has great support. So, and you know, again, what's on the inside? I've seen Coach Jackson coach his butt off. You know what I mean? He was my defensive line coach. You know, he's very smart, very intelligent man that can get things done. So his success don't surprise me. And he has the support. He's at Valdosta State, one of the best Division II programs in the country, been that way for the last 20 years. So he got things to work with. You know, Sam Shade, they will be ready. You know, they very well coached. They don't have all the support. They don't have all the money, but they got great coaches over there that volunteer. Some of them volunteer their time, ain't making a lot of money, but those are former NFL players, former high school coaches, and former head coaches. So he has a great staff. So I look forward. It's going to be a great game. Because one thing about Miles College, coach, they come downhill, coach. They come downhill, and they solid, and they got some good kids over there.
And, Coach, they do one thing that I like as a defensive guy that loves. They get guys to turn that ball over. And, Coach, you know that's all in a playoff game, in a playoff situation. One turnover can win a championship. And that's what I like. That DNA of that Miles College football team is defense and get me the ball.
If they upset Valdosta, it won't fool me none. You know what I'm saying? It will not.
It would not be a surprise to you, Coach?
Won't be a surprise at all. I know some things that Miles give up, and maybe Valdosta can exploit those things, and I know they will, or at least try. And so we look forward to that, Coach. It's going to be a good one this week.
Now, Coach, we talk about the coaches that are having success in HBCU football. Now it's that time to give those guys. Sorry, I can't share my screen and all that kind of stuff. I had to switch devices. But we had 2 coaches so far that one in the MEAC, one in the SWAC that's been let go. Right? Oh, okay, Coach. Well, update me because I only had 2 of them as of yet.
Central State.
Okay.
Elizabeth City.
Okay.
Lane College.
Okay.
Even though they Division II.
And then we had Norfolk State.
Right.
They let Coach Odom go, and one guy I really hated to see go because I thought he was a good guy. Regardless of what you think of him as a coach, I thought he was a sensational guy, and we had him here. We were able to interview him. But McDowell, PV decided not to. He wasn't fired. His contract just wasn't renewed. So, can I get you guys' thoughts on those 2 moves by those 2 institutions?
Go ahead, Campbell.
All right, I'm gonna start with Prairie View. I'm a huge fan of Coach McDowell, but I think what happens is you have expectations. They came in with expectations. I think that fan base, again, my nephew Lionel's out there, they were expecting to be in the West Championship. They felt they had the talent. They made T-shirts. They were ready to go. And I think that team never, and I think also, again, they were never able to get the players that they wanted to get out there to perform and play consistently. And I think, again, I've always said this, a team like Prairie View would, again, even though tradition goes way back and the facilities, Prairie View should be a good team, because I know they got a lot of schools that they're competing with, but there are so many football players in Texas. You should be able to get, hey, man, I would be looking at all those guys that make second and third team and, in the Division 3, 4, whatever you guys got down in Texas. Those would be the guys I'd be looking at. Those guys that at University of Texas, Texas A&M, that, just don't fit, because you're right there. And it's a great school with a great education. They got a lot of similarities to FAMU, to be honest with you, as far as with the state, the academics, the culture, and things like that. But they just need that one coach. And to me, Coach, I said this, I think what Texas, or what Prairie View needs is an offensive guy. I think they need a guy that could come in there and just light the scoreboard up with those plays. Hey, listen. See, that was the coach you saw. I set you up. See, that was the setup. That was the setup. So as such as yourself, Coach, that understood. What was your high scoring average when you were coaching?
39-1 and 38-6.
So let me ask you a question. If you
34 at Bama State.
Well, 30, Coach, that gets you in the SWAC championship every year around here. If that can get done.
Yeah, every year. Coach, I was in the championship every year.
Coach, to bring you to, because you were a head coach and played in that, and for lack of a better word, I think Prairie View, the way it is now, it's in that greater Houston area. I know it's not in Houston, but it's 15 miles from Cypress, and everybody who live in Cypress, I know, say they live in Houston.
Sound like those people from Jackson that live talking about they from Jackson.
Houston don't grow so much. It's really in the city. Prairie View is almost in the city. It don't grow so much.
My daughter go to Cypress. My daughter's at Prairie View, and I can look at her debit card and see she go to Cypress every day.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But my point is saying is, Coach, it's in that greater Houston area. Problem I see with Prairie View, now this is just from the outside looking in, it's not seen as a football destination for football players, one. And two, this is, I think, more importantly, a problem too. The people in Texas don't have a real connection to the SWAC. And can you kind of flush that out for me? Like you got schools like that were straight ass just 4 or 5 years ago, Tarleton State and Abilene Christian, and now they in the playoffs. I can see where Prairie View can easily come up like that, but for some reason, football players don't see Prairie View as a school to play football.
But Coach, I want to piggyback when you answer this, and then my caveat is, they play in Dallas every year in front of 45, 50,000 black people at Dallas Metro that have football players. So that is kind of shocking to me when I can say they don't know they're a football school and they had the biggest classic in that area for the last 60 years. So I just want to put that out there too. So yeah, please help me out with that, Coach.
Well, Rocky don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, all right.
They just built a damn pretty stadium, field house where you got to put your hand and your cards in. And let me tell you, you're talking about a good time on campus. It's one of the best, beautifulest campus. And you talking about a good time? Because when the recruits come there, you ain't got to leave the campus. You talking about beautiful girls, beautiful campus, stuff going on all the time on campus. Win, lose, or draw. You talking about alumni? You talking about alumni? Prairie, you got some of the best. You talking about engineers, nurses.
Talk about football, Coach.
I'm talking about support. Yeah, guys. Prairie View used to be the Bluebird program of the SWAC, of course, back in the day. And then when they went on that long losing streak, and then with the city moving that way, I think, man, and you got 150 high school, 6A high schools within 100 miles that you could go recruit. Now, why it ain't, I don't know. I would have to say that they ain't putting the right person in there. But Coach, Prairie View should be as well as Texas Southern, should be one of the best SWAC teams in the country. They used to be, you know, of course, when players couldn't go. And so now the only downfall is you compete against so many schools in Texas. Texas Tech, Baylor, Texas A&M, Texas, you know what I mean? Iowa Christian, the Lone Star schools. You just got to out-recruit them. You got to out-recruit those type of schools to get players in there. And I think Prairie View is a sleeping giant if they get the right person in there.
Well, Coach, let me ask you a question. And Rocky can answer this because I've only visited Texas and seen Texas football from afar. So our kid that is at Valley what's his name, Coach? Rembert? Is that the pronunciation?
Yeah, Rembert. Yeah.
Okay.
Rembert.
Okay, so think about Rembert. Florida is a football state like Texas, right? You gonna tell me that Prairie View can't find the Remberts of the world because they can't go to none of those schools you named, Coach? But he could be a star in the SWAC.
Oh, man.
So you're gonna tell me that Texas doesn't have 22 Remberts?
Shit, they probably got 2,200 of them.
Thank you. So that's what my question is.
You're
not gonna tell me it's not 2,200 Remberts in the state of Texas.
How do you let Andrew Body, who finished number 1 or 2 in high school passing, out of Texas? You just don't do it. He damn near was a walk-on at Texas Southern. You just don't, you know, you got to get in there, turn the rocks over. You got to make relationships with the University of Texas, Texas A&M. Matter of fact, when I was at Alabama State, I got a guy named McCauley from Texas A&M, transferred to Alabama State, ended up going and playing in the Senior Bowl. How did he pass Texas Southern and Prairie View to come all the way to Alabama State?
That's what I'm seeing. Prairie View, I don't know about Texas Southern, but Prairie View is not seen by kids who are football players in Texas as a serious football school. The same kid that goes to Tarleton for years, that goes to Tarleton and Abilene Christian and went to Sam Houston for years. Coach, you know what kind of program Sam Houston had for years? That same kid should have went to Prairie View and probably would have had a much better experience with a much better degree.
Can I tell y'all this? Let me tell y'all this, what happened to black schools. In the 80s, when I came to school, PWIs was recruiting, they were taking transfers. In the 90s, PWIs was taking transfers. You see what I'm saying? They were taking transfers. We didn't know the game until LC Cole came into the business. Then we started taking transfers at Tennessee State. I'm talking about a team full of them. When we went to Alabama State, guys, I signed 20 junior college players in 2000, the year 2000. 20 junior college players. So on the FCS level, and now remember, Coach, Prairie View had an 8-year, 0-88 in the 90s. Who wants to go there?
But Coach, that's 40 years ago, though, Coach. They won championships.
That was just 20 years ago.
Coach, the 90s, Coach, that's 30 years ago.
Okay.
25. Y'all meet you halfway.
So when did they ever go to the championship?
Coach? They have won championships.
Who? Prairie View won 1 conference championship in 2009.
Okay, well, I tell you what, in the last 3 years, they won 2 West.
Right, they won 1 in 2009. And let's be honest, how they won the championship the last 2. Let's be honest. It was like everybody lost. What did you say earlier when we started the show? Is T.C. Taylor, is he the best of the best, or he's just the best of the worst? Those West Side championships, come on, guys. They were milkshake made. If that's so. But I'm just saying that Prairie View, when you said that, there's some validity to what you said, Rocky, is because they had been losing and lost so much and so long. Sometimes your reputation precedes yourself. And I think, and then guys, you know, I've been in this thing. HBCUs, you get a bad rep of being able to bring somebody in there to do. You don't get no support sometimes for some of these inner city schools from these teachers and stuff. Oh man, don't go to Prairie View, that's the party school. Don't go to Texas Southern, that's the party school. So we get that sometimes. And compared to all the other black schools, except for North Carolina Central, we got a big group of people to compete against. A&M, like I said, Texas Tech, Baylor, Sam Houston. Sam Houston been taking them transfers for a long time. So that's kind of the way I see it. But I think if you get the right person in there, let's talk about the last couple of coaches they had that were winning coaches before they got there. How many?
But a lot of times that job was a starter job. Willie Simmons starter, Coach Dooley starter job, Bubba McDowell starter job. That's the last three coaches, right? And who was the guy?
You're exactly saying what I'm saying. Why can't a guy walk in there with championships already on his resume?
Well, that's what they're saying. That they're going to do a national search. That's said.
Oh man, them natural stuff, man. They kill me with them natural. We're gonna do a natural search. Then they hire the real estate guy, or you know what I'm saying? They hire some pro that's 67 years old, like Jackson State did when they hired Harold Jackson. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Coach, this is what I'll say, Coach. Now, this is just what I'll say. I think the formula for winning at Prairie View, and you may not like it or whatever, but I would hire one of those state championship black coaches at
DeSoto,
DeSoto, Mathis, or Samson. Yeah, one of those state championship coaches at Prairie View. Now he probably not gonna win right off the bat because he got to learn the lay of the land, but it raises the profile of the football at Prairie View. It becomes an extension of the reputation of the state. You understand what I'm saying? And because so many players from Prairie View are not Texas kids for whatever reason, that's crazy. You know what I mean? I don't understand why. Like when you talk about the, Prairie View players, like they should be.
Didn't we just name 3 of the last coaches that were beginner coaches?
Yeah.
They came in there with no system, coach. You know what I mean? What you say? You got to come in and say, man, I got to be good at home. I got to shop at home. I got to be good in my recruiting area. I got Dallas, great football. I got Houston, great football. I got the east of Texas, great football. And it should be.
Well, like, hold up. Let me just say this. This guy said, hell, I'm surprised you did not just hire Coach Cole. Okay, let me say this about Coach. Coach Cole is my cast member on this show or whatever. And his resume speaks for itself. I don't have to keep repeating this goddamn resume. He's a championship coach. There's no coach that's coaching in HBCU football right now with a better resume than Coach Cole. I don't give a damn if it's at the MEAC, at the SWAC, at Tennessee State. Nobody has as many championships. Nobody's coached more pros. Nobody has done anything on the level that Coach Cole has done it. So when I'm saying this, it's a rhetorical thing. If there's an opening and they're looking for a winning coach, it's rhetorical that Coach Cole is a qualified coach, right? Every time we say somebody's name in the business that is any good, they got a connection to Coach Cole. Coach Cole had influence or touched in some kind of way, or he was part of that, whether it was when Pete Richardson won championship, he was on the staff. When Tennessee State was the only black school to win an all-white conference, he was the OC on those teams. When Alabama State was able to come in and play in their very first SWAC championship, he was on the coaching staff. And when Texas Southern, the only time in modern time, if they ever won a SWAC championship, guess what? Who's the head coach? Coach Cole. So I don't have to keep saying obvious shit. I hope I don't. Y'all are fans of the show. Y'all know who this man is. If we talk about football and there's an opening, of course he's qualified. There is no question about that. And I give him his flowers in person, on his live, and I have me and Coach Campbell had the unique experience of traversing this country, following Black college football with Coach Cole, and we see the admiration and respect that he not only has from the fans, but from the other coaches and administrators in this profession. So we fully understand who we on this show with, right? So for me to keep saying, hey, somebody need to hire Coach Cole, somebody need to hire Coach Cole, I mean, how many times I got to say it? I can't hire nobody. If I had a team to hire, if somebody made me AD and I wanted to keep my job and feed my family, guess who I'm going to hire? Coach Cole. So I'll leave that right there. So hopefully I'm not trying to slight Coach Cole when I don't obviously mention his name about an opening. I'm just adding more context to the hire search because guess what? The guy at PV know exactly who Coach Cole is. Guess what? There's an interview with him and Coach Cole sitting right next together. Go look at it on the internet. We got the video footage. He interviewed the AD. The AD know exactly who Coach Cole is. It ain't even no secret. And they had a good conversation about everything that was going on in Prairie. So anyway, I'm done with it. And that's why I didn't say Coach Cole's name, because y'all know good and goddamn well Coach Cole is qualified for any opening in HBCU football and football, period. Let me just put it like that. Go ahead. I hope I didn't. I went on a tirade. I didn't mean to do that.
I appreciate you, Coach. Really, I do. I appreciate both of you guys. And, that's what our show is now. It ain't about me. It's about HBCU. It's about us. So I appreciate that, though, Coach. Shit, you ain't lying.
If I want to keep my job, and this is what I'm saying, if ADs want to keep their job and feed their family, right, and sit back and continue to collect them checks, that's what they'll do. But obviously, they want to do something else. They want to hire a coach every 3 years.
Well, let me do this. And Coach, don't give me no coach speak, okay? I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm an alumnus of PV. I'm a money guy. I'm an AD. I watch the show. People sending me text messages about this Coach Cole. Yeah, you say I know you, I get it. But from right now, I'm the AD of Prairie View. You have watched us. You've seen what we do. What if you were the coach? What would be the first 5 things you would do to get us to be in that SWAC championship game in the next 3 years?
Prairie View A&M.
Prairie View. I'm the AD of Prairie View A&M. I'm interviewing you, Coach. I want to know the 5 things that you see that we need to change or you would do to get. And hey, I'm not saying next year, but next 3 years. Year 3, I need to be there, and I need the game to be at my house.
Right now, I'm on the outside looking in and really hadn't really studied what they have. But first and foremost, I'm cleaning house. I got to hire the best football staff I can hire. I got to make sure that I get some Texas guys, because you always want to be the best in recruiting in your home base, in your home where you live at. Number 2, definitely would have to go evaluate the personnel. Where I need somebody else. Is it O-line? Is it wide receiver? Because you got to put the recruiting piece together right now, because it's recruiting time. I'm going to go out and hire the best strength coach that I find. Our last several strength coaches I've hired, one came from Texas, one came from Baylor, one came from the University of Nebraska. And all 3 of those guys right now, one is up at the Titans, one is at Vanderbilt, and one went to Fresno State as well as University of Texas. Because I got to let my strength coach know that you are the head coach of the strength program. And you run it, and I need reports who's not coming. Number 2, I got to make the kids understand that it's a different time. We don't talk about losing. We got a meeting at 3, you need to be there at 2:45. And if you don't be there at 2:45, then you're going to really know who Coach Cole is and about, and make them understand that nobody in this program is bigger than the team and bigger than Prairie View A&M. You know, I got to be able to bridge the gap between the university and the program. What does that mean? I got to set meetings up with the Divine Nine. I got to set meetings up with the financial aid department. I got to set meetings up with the administration. And I also make sure I got a relationship between the athletic director and the president. That's real. Then next, you know, I definitely got to get out and meet the Alumni Association. So wherever they are, wherever our biggest alumni association is, and when they have meetings, I got to go there. Houston, if it's in California, if it's in Atlanta. You know, I've done this over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Third, I got to meet with the maintenance department on campus on how the building is ran. I got to meet with my administrative staff from making sure the trash can is emptied every day, making sure that that locker room is recruit ready. You know, and the rest is be able to now, you know, let's talk about X's and O's, you know, but I'll make sure the players that we have a standard of how we look, the route we're going, what my expectations, what your expectations of me, what your expectations of my coaching staff. So that's the several things I do. And then, you know, off the back, you know, you got December signing day. You know, as these major schools are recruiting our players, I'm gonna be recruiting their players as well.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It ain't that because they playing for these schools that they're happy playing there. There's some kids that ain't on no NIL, that ain't making no money, that want to come. And then most of all, guys, I got to get in them homes. I got to meet them coaches in Texas. You know, put my ring on, put my suit on, and every time they see me, that's gonna be the standard. You know, we gonna run things different. Every time they see my coaches, when my coaches go out, they're gonna have a suit coat on. You know what I mean? I just believe that that's the route to go. And so when we walk into place, we not looking ragtag. We professional, and we're about winning football games and developing young men to be pillars in their community.
Coach, let me ask you this question, and I've heard this a lot, and I hear it in Florida. I definitely have heard it in Texas. Got a lot of classmates or friends down there. The white football coach that doesn't want his black player, and I'm not talking about the one that's University of Texas A&M. Again, goes back to my point. That's on our level, and won't tell that kid that there's a potential offer or to look at it. How do you fight that? What do you do to get around that guy? Because I think that's all. I hear a lot of that going on down in Texas also.
Well, two things. Sadly, there's black coaches that say don't go to HBCUs, number one. Number two, I'll give you an experience. I used to fly out to California. I recruited every junior college in California from the top, all 70 of them. And when I used to come in there with my jacket on, have my ring on, and the coach actually called me a pimp. And he wouldn't give me the top players. So what I do, man, I started going over to the dormitory, waiting on the kids to come in from practice. You know what I mean? And that's how I started. You can't take no for an answer. You know what I'm saying? I've recruited players where I've out-recruited the University of Tennessee. You know what I mean? I've out-recruited UC. I got a player from USC, you know, that was either going to go to USA or UCLA. A guy named Jackson. Matter of fact, his brother, they were twins, played in the pros. So you're gonna run into that. But you gotta sell yourself. You know, when you walk in there, you gotta know what you talk about. You can't walk in there in your belly and your shirt up and you're seeing your belly and you ain't combed your hair. You know, you gotta come in there and talk the talk and walk the walk. You know, and you know, and I hung out with my brother at the time, you know, at some time. And he was recruiting for New Mexico, University of Nebraska, Toledo. So I just looked at just as clean and talked just as clean as them, you know? And so that's why you got to go recruit those high schools. You might take you a second tier kid to get another kid. You know what I mean? So you got to build those relationships and make people trust you. You know, we love the kids. You know, I don't know why some white coaches don't want their kid to go. I'm not going to say it because, oh, don't go to that black school. He might not want him to go because he don't think he's going to get coached properly. You know what I mean? What is the graduation rate? You know what I'm saying? Are they doing that? So, you know, black schools have gotten a bad mark. They have got a bad mark. That's why when I say that I don't allow dreads, I want them to look professional. You know, when we show up, we don't, you know, we ain't coming with our hair all over the place. When we walk in that place, coach, we want to look like, you know, we play for the Army or the Navy. You know, we want to look good. And somebody would say, if you look good, you play good, you get paid good. I took that one out of Deion Sanders' book. But the pay good, the back part. But when we walk in place, man, I want people to know that this is Prairie A&M or Texas Southern or you know, Baluka State, that we professional young men, and we, you know, and we coming in here to do a job. Not that we're a bunch of wild animals and stuff like that. You know, and we get that. I'm telling you guys, we you know, I still think we can't do what they can do. You know, that's just kind of my thing on that.
Well, Coach, let me ask you one other question, because this is always fascinating. How important is it to develop where you see schools where the high school starts to become a feeder school, where you can start going back and getting 1, 2, and 3, 4 guys from a high school, and then it starts to spread into an area like you would hear, hey man, Jackson State's getting a bunch of guys from Atlanta, and these 3, 4 guys played on the same team, and then they tell their buddy that played against the way. The same thing down in FAMU, hey, these guys played Orlando Jones, 3 or 4 of these guys, and they came to FAMU together. How important is that to also recruit friends? And like you said, you get the one guy, but you got 2 guys, you kind of maybe just to bring everybody together to create that feeder to your school.
See, I've been in the game long enough now that my kids that I've coached are head coaches in places. we got 3 national teams that basically is coached by Black coaches: Duncanville, DeSoto, and Kimmel, right up in Dallas. So I might take me a second tier. I might do a favor for the coach. You know what they're gonna do for me? Next time I come up there, they're gonna say, man, this dude, he's a superstar. He don't need to go to Texas. He needs to come down where y'all are, because he needs that hugging. And I know now the NIL has changed a lot of that. But if you really, really care about kids, you'll try to send them in the right direction. So you might take 1 or 2. You know, I like to sign kids, man. I'll be honest. You know, come from good families, 3.0 student, you know, maybe be a little undersized. I call those program kids. Those kids that might not come in and play right now, but damn it, down the road, they're going to be all-stars, all-Americans. You know what I mean? I had this kid named Rudy Johnson. Matter of fact, his father was my roommate, you know, and the kid came in quiet. I know he came from good stock. You know, he wasn't where he was, right? So I brought him to Texas Southern. And, you know, he would, every time he would get in the game, guys, he would drop back. He would find the backs because he knew he couldn't really throw the ball down the field. So people kind of made jokes. I said, man, I'm telling y'all guys, that kid going to be a great player. Well, he come up, and then I leave, and he stays. And then the next coach come in and didn't really want him there. So he ended up transferring to Winston-Salem. Division II All-American. Took him to the championship. So, you know, I've seen those type of things, man. You get some kids right there in Texas, they ain't got to be the best, but they come from a good program. They come from a good family, man. You just got to recognize all that kind of stuff. You recognize a guy with narrow shoulders. You recognize a guy with knock knees. You recognize a guy with fat ankles. You know, some of those guys you don't take a chance on. Some of them you do. You got to know the other part of what that make that kid.
Now, Coach, I got to do one thing, and this is for my people in the chat. Now, Coach, they love you. The people in the chat love you. But, Coach, they said, listen, you got to have them dreadheads. You got to have them lockheads, Coach. This is Coach. Coach, listen. In Florida, they say the tighter the locks, the faster they run. Now, Coach, you gonna have to. I'm just tell you, Coach. You're a person that is a great coach that knows all. But, Coach, you're gonna have a couple of them dreadheads. Now, listen, cause they keep them tight. Now, Coach, I understand you don't want them to look, you know, the beard or whatever. But, Coach, I'm just saying, Coach. When they pull their helmet off, you might have to adjust on that, okay?
Can I say this? And you know what? I can make an adjustment. I won't tear up my nose despite my face.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I know, you know, when I coached in 2010, that, you know, I know things kind of, I teach, Coach. I'm a teacher. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got some of these kids that does it. I teach. I'm not no fool, but I guarantee you, we're gonna be professional. We're gonna be looking like we played for Notre Dame or Penn State.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're not gonna be looking above because we will get that mark on us. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you guys don't put me on black. Where the jobs at? Help.
Yeah,
no, coach.
No, I just think that it's just great because I just think that you know, a lot of people are listening to you and you know and things and I'll say this to a lot of people that are listening. They're fans of their schools, they're observing you. Every day you come on here, coach, you know it's a job interview and things like that for you and you know for the opportunity that you may potentially get. And I think it's always great. But I wanted to clear that up. I think people take that a little bit too serious when you say that. But I will say this, coach, and I'm gonna agree with you on this. And I've learned this as being a boss. You are never allowed to be late. Point blank, period. If you want to lose somebody, allow your organization to allow people to be late. Now, coach, that I'm with you. That is non-negotiable.
You know, my thing is no player is never bigger than the team. If you can't make it to meetings, if you lose respect of me or the program, you can't play for me because there's no relationship. And guys, you can say how you want it. I'm not meeting the kid where he at. He's gonna have to meet me and meet our program where we are, and we'll work through all that. You know, I mean, guys, I've won championships everywhere I've been. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to think that I'm this monster. I'm not. You know, I hug kids. You know, I put my arms around them. You know, I let them know, man, I care about you. You know, my thing is if I could get these kids to focus on themselves and look past their nose and think, I'm gonna be a father one day. I'm gonna be, you know, I'm gonna be an executive one day. I'm gonna, you know, I want to be something. I want to change, you know, what I've been through. You know, like I tell my kids, 80% of my kids at Texas Southern didn't have a father relationship. So I made sure, hey man, reach out to him. Don't just assume or take your mother's side. Reach out to him and find and build that relationship because I think it's important. So, you know, man, I mean, that's enough of me. I appreciate you guys, man. You know, y'all working, coach. Y'all working.
We got a couple calls, coach. And so caller, you're live on the airway, HBCU Coaches Corner. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Go ahead, man.
Okay, well, my name is Coach Marvin from Columbia, South Carolina, man. I'm a former coach, a high school coach down here. Man, my thing is, you mentioned Coach Barry. He really got me enthused. I'm a Norfolk State grad. I graduated Norfolk State. I paid for the great coach Willie Bailey when I was at Norfolk State, right before he left Norfolk State. But I got a fondness of the Benedict program under Coach Barry when he was here and following the South Carolina State program. And it's amazing how you talk from, just like you talked about Coach Cole, about talking to the janitors. You go down to South Carolina State, everybody from the janitors to the people who park in the cars are saying the exact same thing that you hear Coach Barry says when he's in front of his team and when he's in front of the microphone when he's at a press conference. He has a whole nation down the Bulldog land and when he was at Benedict saying the same tone. And that's going to make a great program because he's going to be able to get the best out of each and every player that he has there. But I want to understand I know y'all talking about Prairie, but Norfolk State in that Tidewater area is a gold mine for talent. And there is not another team and Norfolk State has a great resources, great stadium, 30,000 seat stadium. And I'm just wondering, what would it take in Norfolk State to get them to be a pillar in the MEAC? Because I think they got everything when it comes to basketball, but I think that they can really do a great job in football if they get the right piece in Norfolk.
Hey,
thank
bro,
you. I'll listen to y'all.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Man, you know, Norfolk, they got the stadium. You got the home. You got to get people to want to take care of the home. And like you said, I mean, you're right there by Florida. You got South Carolina. You're right over from Georgia. There's no way that Norfolk shouldn't be. It's in a great city, a great town. They just ain't got the right leadership. You know, it's Norfolk has always, ain't never just really won a consistent winning program. You know, again, everything starts right there. Everything starts at the top. does they support the program? I mean, they dived into that new stadium. I thought it was great. Man, I'll be honest, guys. I've been looking at that job for a long time, Coach. I interviewed in North Carolina Central, but Norfolk, man, is a great place to be. It's by the ocean. I think it's great for living. I think everything is tight over there. So when you get recruits in there, you ain't driving a country mile from the airport. I think it's a super place. They just gotta hire the right person. And I think the right person at this time with Norfolk, stop hiring coaches that are not championship coaches. Stop hiring beginners. Stop hiring guys coming in for the first time. Hire a coach that has won and more than just one conference. So that's my take on that.
Hey, Coach, we got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Coach G from Atlanta.
Go ahead, Coach G.
All right. How you doing today, gentlemen?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
So I work with your brother in Atlanta. Sometimes he got a game face on all the time, man. I don't know if I'm ever getting through to him, man, because I'm like, dang, man, this cat seems like he in the zone. But I just want to clear up something about, I heard y'all talking about recruiting and some of the guys telling kids don't come to black HBCUs. What happens a lot of times, I'm trying to be short with this, is these administrators in places like that, they want you to raise money, and for the program, they want it to all go in a pot, and they just want to pay their salaries. I had some people wanted a record artist want to get $2 million to Clark Atlanta, and they tell me it can't go to football, it can't go to baseball, it's got to go into a pot, and for everybody, So sometimes they kill stuff.
Yeah, what you got to do is earmark it. Whoever's giving the money, they got to earmark it football. But what they try to do is they try to run it through the foundation, so the foundation can get credit on bringing money into the school. That's why they do it that way. Because
I never seen the money make it to the place. Sometimes guys have to leave and go somewhere else to coach because they just didn't get the money. I will say a unique thing about Clark Atlanta was it's 85% women, guys who were taking that job over the years. If you didn't bring your Louis, like Dion said, with you, you ain't gonna have no team. Teddy Keaton done a hell of a job in Atlanta because then he was able to bring some kids from Allen to mix along with the kids that was left over from previous coach. But most of these kids now, when they go to the white colleges, they got tutors. They got tutors for every kid pretty much down there on that team, and they all in the same subject. You don't get that at black HBCUs because all these kids are taking something different, and they're not getting promised that there. And if they don't make it, they flunk out. So that's one of the big persuasions with a lot of D1 colleges. We got to take your SAT for you if we have to. So I just wanted to say that.
All right, man. Thank you for calling in, man. Thank you for calling in. All right. Hey, I just want everybody to know we only got one line, so if you call, you're going to end up on hold if somebody's on the phone. So you wait till somebody hang up and call, we'll be able to answer your call. We got a few more. We promised Coach Cole we're going to get him out of here at 8:30. And I mean,
hey, look, we passed that, so we might as well roll, man.
Yeah. So again, but Coach, you bring up something very interesting. Is this something I know firsthand, Coach? Is that coaches in Texas often overlook HBCUs as a viable option, even for black kids, right? They'll put those guys on the back burner, right? I remember, I just tell you, Coach, I won't say the coach name, but if a coach from Sam Houston or Stephen F. Austin come in, the coach get up out of his office, run out there, hand him a packet with all the recruitable players on it, whatever. And if an HBCU coach come in there, he'll tell his secretary, hey, give him a few of those pamphlets over there, and good seeing you, Coach. And wouldn't even show any hospitality. game toward coach. And I think those coaches feel like that's a waste of time if they keep going and the coaches keep blowing them off. So I think that's a realistic phenomenon that's happening in here. I know here in Texas is that the HBCU coaches are not given the proper respect as collegiate coaches.
You know, like I keep telling you guys, man, you got to demand respect. I've been there, coach. I've been there. I've been to schools when I walk in and the big players are talking to the big schools, and then all of a sudden he put me in a room and I'm the tallest one in the room. I've been there. I go right in there to that high school coach and I let him know, hey man, look, I want your best players. I don't want you. I don't do that to me. You know what I mean? You got to get, sometimes you got to get them high school coaches straight, because some of them high school coaches are getting paid for sending players different places. That ain't no secret. That's been going on for years, coach, for years and years. And I'm pretty sure it's going on now. But you got to be able to go in there and now it's a lot different, because how you gonna go talk to the top quarterback when he getting offered $150,000 from somewhere else?
Hey, coach,
So you got to be real good. But let's answer some of the questions out there.
Hey, go ahead, guys. Go ahead, caller. You live on HBCU Coaches Corner. What's your name? Where you calling?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good info. This is JB calling from Houston. How y'all doing?
Go ahead.
Good.
All right, so a couple of things about this, and also thank you for taking my call. I greatly appreciate it. I'm glad you guys were talking about the playoffs earlier and whatnot. I do believe that Tennessee State has a puncher's chance at winning this ball game. It's not the same Montana team from last year that was in the national championship game. Two things working against them, though. Hopefully, the crowd. Okay, that Montana crowd is going to be something else. So hopefully, Tennessee State has its wits about itself. But it's not just the crowd itself; it's the elevation as well. That stadium's above sea level. So hopefully they get their wind about themselves, if they're able to adjust to the altitude that's taking place up there. That's number one. Number two, we're talking about some of the coaches from PV, for example. I'll give you 3 issues right now with PV. Incarnate Word, Tarleton State, Abilene Christian. All 3 of those schools are in the playoffs right now. PV also took on Incarnate Word this past season and got obliterated as well. If we're going to recruit to get kids, you got to be able to win those kind of matchups against those schools in your geographic footprint. You cannot say, hey, we come to PV, we have this going on here, but you're getting beat by 30 by Incarnate Word. So you have to find a way to get those victories. And then for the kind of coaches as well, everyone's talking about the coach from Valdosta State, who's a good guy. But also, you should also check out Tyrone Nix, who's assistant coach at Charleston State as well. A lot of these coaches who are assistant coaches in other FCS programs or who are winning at the D2 level, those are the guys you go after, because those guys are newer, those guys are hungry. So go after those guys.
Well, here, let me ask you this here, JB, because this is go back to what we talked about. Why should Prairie View take a chance on an assistant coach? That's what we're talking about. Like, why not go get a proven winner to coach PV?
All right. Okay, here's the thing, though. Okay, I mentioned that earlier and whatnot. Incarnate Word, Charleston State, Abilene Christian. Those are the winners right now in that state. So, it could be a new assistant coach, who's different kind of philosophy, different kind of ideas. Because the one thing we keep doing, is that we keep getting the same kind of coaches who may have been winning, but a lot of these coaches may not have.
No, that's the problem, JB. They're not getting winning coaches. They're getting coaches who were on somebody's staff, who were first time assistants, first time head coaches. What we're saying is, go get a winner.
Let me say this, Coach, and we get to the next, and I'll answer his question.
Go ahead.
Let's go. First of all, I'm not playing Kearney Road, Albany Christian. I'm not playing them. I'm not playing state schools. if I got to play outside my conference, I'm gonna go. So for a money game, I'm going somewhere else. And maybe he is right. Playing them teams every year, getting your head beat in, is killing your recruiting. Remember, I've already told you guys about that. I'm not playing them teams until we're ready. And my thing is it's not a win-win for you. If you win, good. If you lose, it's gonna hurt you in recruiting. So if I'm gonna play a team at that level, I'm going out of the state. I'm going out of the state, and then I'm and so when I come in and recruit, I don't have a recruiter coming behind me in a state school telling me, man, what you want to go over there for? We beat them 70-0. We beat them 72-0. You don't want to do that. And that's what, when you're talking about an experienced coach, as opposed to a guy coming in, walking in for the first time, because what? He going to do whatever the AD tell him. The AD got a buddy over such and such way, and the AD want to go visit a such area. He going to put them teams on the schedule. And you don't need to play those teams.
Hey, Coach, we got another caller. You live on the air with HBCU Coaches Corner. What's your name and where you calling from?
This is Chuck Hunt calling from Monroe, Louisiana.
Chuck from Monroe. Thank you for calling in. Chuck, what you got to say, man? And make it snappy, Chuck.
Yes, good evening to you all. I was just calling. So much is going on, and there's some of you talking about Miles playing Carson, them beating Carson Newman. Now I remember Carson Newman back when they were having, their powerhouse in the NAIA, under legendary Coach Ken Sparks, and then in the NCAA Division II, and they entered, and it shows what these schools can do, and I'm looking forward to them in their upcoming game against Valdosta State. But also, I'm on this one. I see Mississippi College has ended its football program. It's been around since 1907. And the coaches and players were blindsided, and now they're finding the coaches haven't found jobs, and the players haven't found places to land. And there's one young man from Fairhope, Alabama, a young man. He's a running back named Preston Godfrey, and he's searching for. I think he's a freshman. He's searching for a home, and I just wonder, bringing to the HBCU realm. I wonder if he would consider coming to an HBCU. This is my question there. It just make you wonder and don't know what's in a young man's head.
Okay.
Hey, thank you for calling in, Chuck. We appreciate it.
Chuck, welcome to college football, man. As coaches get fired and coaches get hired. That's our business. That's why we should get paid.
Yeah, man. Hey, Coach, he mentions a very tough circumstance, whatever, about Mississippi College closing their program down. I've never heard of such. I don't even know if I've ever heard of college. I don't even know if they're D1, D2, D3, NAIA.
Yeah, I think they're like NAIA. They're little smalls right out in Clinton, Mississippi, right outside of Jackson. They're really known for their law school.
Oh, okay. Okay, we got one more caller, Coach. Let me get him on here, Coach. Coach, you're live on HBCU Coaches Corner with Johnny Cole. What's your name and what you calling from, man?
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? This is Coach Green, man.
What up, Coach?
Hold on. I got one thing to say. Coach, before you start any question, we are not answering any question about FAMU and Valley. I'm just telling you right now. Now, you can talk about Southern. You can talk about your school that you attended. You can talk about the school that you coach. But there will be no more questions because you done went on every show talking about FAMU and Valley. We get the point, okay? I'm just letting you know. So this is a Thanksgiving week. Now I'm trying to be giving you my thanks, all right?
So you said I could talk about Edward Waters University where I'm at now or Southern University. Well, I can't talk about
You've asked enough questions over the last week on every channel about FAMU and Valley. We got you. We understand because we knew Southern couldn't do the job, so you had to ask a question about Valley. So I'm not going to let you waste our time tonight asking about FAMU and Valley. Okay? So I'm telling you that right now. Or I'm going to hang up on you.
Well, I really wasn't going to bring them up anyway.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I put my point about that.
All right, Coach.
Hey, I was gonna ask, who y'all think Y'all, I'm gonna ask each one of y'all, who y'all think y'all top 3 coaches should be for the TV job?
You know, Coach Green, anybody that I name outside of like, you know, the known guys like Coach Cole, Sam Shade, Jackson over at Valdosta State. Those would be, you know, Coach Keaton over at Clark. Those would be the guys that I would look at. I would look at, because Coach, more than anything, Prairie View needs a winner. Period.
How y'all feel about Craig McNair?
He's a winner, in my opinion.
Okay.
Fred McNair.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna say this. Listen, again, great respect for Coach McNair. I think he would do a great. I just think that, to me, and again, I know he's not going to do it because he's got a lot of things going on. But to me, a guy in this mode, a KJ Black, smart, young, offensive type guy, played quarterback, good looking brother that could go in and out of these schools, motivate, hey, talk to these mamas. I want a guy, if I could duplicate whatever KJ Black was and bring it to Prairie View, that would be my type of guy. I think they need a Willie Simmons type guy. They need a guy, a Teddy Keaton type guy. I just think if they could put points on the board, I think it just would help with the recruiting. I think you got to get people excited. And I think it's easier on the offensive side. And again, we saw with Clark, the defense had to catch up with the offense, but the offense got them rolling. It got the team excited because they were scoring touchdowns. And I just think, to me, it would just be an offensive guy.
Hey, Coach, I've been meaning to ask you guys this, but and Coach Green, since you're an HBCU guy, I want to ask you this question as well, because I wasn't around when it happened. What was the state of Alcorn's program when they decided to hire a white man?
Well, you're Green?
Who want to answer? Because
well, you know, they had hired Melvin Spears, and Melvin didn't even make it to. He made it through recruiting season, but before that fall, they ended up hiring the white coach. And Melvin had done a great job of recruiting and bringing players into Alcorn. And it was a political deal. The guy's from Mississippi, his family's from Mississippi, and they were involved in banking, I want to say. And that's kind of how he came in and got the job. I knew the athletic director at that time. The athletic director had chose Mickey Joseph, but the president stepped in and hired. I can't think of my man's name.
Jay Hobson.
Yeah, Coach Hobson.
Yep.
Jay Hobson, and the president overrode and got Jay Hobson in there. So it was political. That part was political. With the AD, after that happened, the AD turned in his resignation and said, "I'm out." Said, "I'm the AD. I think I need to choose the coach that I want." And he wanted Mickey Joseph at the time. And and then Jay Hobson came in and make so bad he had all those players that Melvin Spears brought in. And, you know, he won 2 SWAC championships. And the NCAA came in and found some ineligible players. But nobody says that. Nobody talks about that. And the school definitely didn't give back their championships, you know. So, and you can look it up in the newspaper. You know, you can pull it up, NCAA violations 2015-16 with Alcorn State. So that's how that happened. And they were on a downslide, Coach. They were on a downslide.
Situation where they were just so downtrodden that it was more or less the guy who Jay wanted the job, and he got the job. Is that how you also see it, Coach Green and Coach Campbell? I know you're a Mississippi guy.
Yeah, you gotta understand. So Coach Hobson had coached on the highest levels. He was at Michigan, if I remember correctly. I know he was down at Southern Miss. I think he coached down there. I think Jay Hobson went to Ole Miss and played at Ole Miss. And so he had been on a high level. You know what I mean? So I think that when I heard it, and I was like, wow. But this goes to show that sometimes, and again, we cannot just be stuck in a box when you're looking for coaches and things like that. And clearly he was the right man at the right time, got Alcorn rolling. Fred McNair picked up the baton, went back to the Celebration Bowl. So again, I don't listen, I'm not one of those ones that say you got to hire a black guy or this guy or whatever. But what I will say is this, there are a lot of black coaches that also get an opportunity and never get an opportunity. So my thing is, just as many white Jay Hobsons, I believe there's as many black Jay Hobsons that also deserve an opportunity.
Hey, Coach Green, can you hear us? All right, we got another caller. Caller, you live on air with HBCU Coaches Corner. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hello? This is Coach Pep, man.
Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah. Mr. Campbell, you familiar with Mississippi, right?
I am.
Yeah. You familiar with a quarterback named Camaro Taylor from Knoxville County, Mississippi? He's a 5-star.
That is a powerhouse school, Coach. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I was saying this because any program that can win with a quarterback. And I think if Fred McNair was at Alcorn, he would have at least came on a visit.
Yeah.
But that coach out there at Alcorn, Jackson proved they was 50 points better than Alcorn at Alcorn. If they played at Jackson, Jackson State would have beat them by 60. And that coach out there at Alcorn, he was 8-14. And I think they should have put that job up for bid. Jackson State, he won't catch Jackson State in 4 years. 4 years of him coaching out there at Alcorn. And Johnny, I know that Fred McNair was negotiating his contract with Texas Southern. Do you think that this man should have put his name in the hat before that negotiation was done?
Yes, ain't no question. That whole deal, Coach Pep, was just wasn't right. It was just how he recruited. Didn't really bring no other coaches in. Brought McNair in. It's like he leaned it towards McNair out the gate. You know what I mean? He just could have done it a better way and made. And I think you said it earlier, Coach Campbell. When people get involved and all that, that means they don't have a lot of confidence in the guy who's making the choice, an athletic director. And that was a clear process that they didn't really trust the athletic director of making that choice.
Yeah, I think, when you say that, Coach, Mr. Campbell, Coach Cole, I think Coach McNair was a great choice for Texas Southern. You know how I felt about it. I thought him being a winner, having a winning pedigree. Of course, there were questions of whether or not he could make it work. At TSU. But I thought it was an upgrade. Him coming on was definitely an upgrade from what they had, and he was a proven championship coach. So therefore, that's why I was on board with it. But obviously at Texas Southern, they were looking for something else because they went from him to Rod Woodson to Chris Dishman. I'm not sure what was going on.
And Andre Johnson.
Oh yeah, even Andre Johnson. Caller, what's your name and where you calling from? You're live on HBCU Coaches Corner.
It can be Ron from Atlanta. Go Bulldogs. It's a good question for all of you guys, and it is maybe a complicated question. You covered it so much. What would it take for either the SWAC, MEAC, or both to get some type of automatic playoff bid, either from the Celebration Bowl or from the SWAC championship. I do understand that, you know, the times in which they're being played, but can you guys kind of like, you know, just give a hypothetical scenario where one or both could somehow enter into the playoffs? That's my question.
All right, let me answer that. Okay, you got to understand something. Both the MEAC and SWAC had automatic bids to the playoffs. They chose to give up those bids to send their champions to the Celebration Bowl. Okay, that's the business part of it. It's not that we didn't have them. It's not that we didn't want them. That the MEAC and SWAC made a business decision to have a black, quote unquote, in quotation marks, a black college national championship. That's what happened. Now, with that being said, as you've seen, that we have had teams that have had great seasons. North Carolina Central last year, FAMU, I guess 3 years ago now, I guess whatever you want to say, that went to the playoffs. So we still have the ability to go to the playoffs, but they made a business decision. Now you have people that say, hey, play in the playoffs. I'm a Celebration Bowl guy. I've been to both. I think it's just a great experience to celebrate HBCU football. And I have been to every one of those games, and they play those games like a championship game. When those boys play that game, and if you don't believe it, you have not been to a Celebration Bowl if you don't think those guys play like it's a championship game. So that's really, it's not that we don't have it. It is that the conferences, from a business decision, decided to give up the automatic bid, and that was for the SWAC. They had to give it up because they had the SWAC championship game that happens after the playoffs.
And then correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Campbell. I think the biggest initial issue was that the Bayou Classic was played after the playoffs begin. Is that correct?
Well, yes, but the SWAC, but you got to understand something. The deal was made to send the two best teams, the champions, to the Celebration Bowl. So they gave up the bid. So that's what I'm saying. That was the whole thing anyway. They gave up the bid to play in the Celebration, because you had to give up the bid for what they were trying to accomplish, because they knew, because we tried this. And Coach, you noticed during the Heritage Bowl era, the best team in the MEAC never went to the Heritage Bowl. FAMU went to the playoffs, and then they sent the second team.
Right.
I think Jackson State.
Grambling and Southern has always, that Bayou Classic has always thrown everything off, because that's the week of the FCS championship. I was fortunate enough to coach in the only black college championship game in January 1st. But it's so much competition, as you say, and it's a money thing to have a black college national championship.
So that's the answer to that. It's not that we didn't have it. It was a business decision. We gave up the bid to have the Celebration Bowl. Yeah.
But like you say, sometimes if you got a good record, you'll get that opportunity. And we just didn't have a school this year. The only one had a 8-game winning season is Jackson State. Everybody else, I think, was 6 and below.
Yeah. And then on the MEAC side, then like I say, you had Central that would have had an outside shot because they won 8.
Right.
And from a business standpoint, I remember this maybe 6-8 years ago. From a business standpoint, the teams that go deep in the FCS playoffs are running a deficit for some reason. I remember Sam Houston had that problem. I believe James Madison had that same problem. There was one other school.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's
I think Coach froze.
Yeah.
But the NCAA controls the gate. I believe it's something like that. They control the gate, and and it's not well attended. You know what I mean? The games are not well attended. So again, you spend all this money to have a game, and you don't make money. They don't get money from a TV revenue standpoint, for the games. So all that, the NCAA keeps all that. Then I guess they pay for the cost of travel and things like that.
Well, I think. So from a business standpoint, I believe the business model used to be, I don't know if that's still the case. Like, it used to be that a team could bid to host the game, right? And they would pay whatever X amount of dollars to the NCAA to host the game. And then there was never any guarantee that they would make that money back, that they paid to host the game. And so that was the situation with Sam Houston. They had very good teams for several years. They were paying to host these games, and their stadium doesn't hold 60, 70,000 people. You know what I mean? I want to say their whole stadium held 17, 18,000 people. And so therefore they were limited as to what they could actually make by hosting a game.
And I'm gonna go back further. Coach could talk about this, and this is what and Blue kind of corrected this later on. But I'm gonna tell you something. When Jack State and Grambling was going, they were getting screwed on the playoff seedings. They would send them guys, and Jack State and Grambling would have the better records. And like I say, they would have to go to Boise, they would have to go to Georgia Southern, they would have to go to Louisiana Tech, and all that. And it would be like, this is not fair. So
yeah, they bid for them games to have those games sometimes.
Yeah, so it was a lot of people like, okay, you stacking the deck, and like I say, it goes even all the way back to the 1978 championship. FAMU and Jack State were the two best schools, and they put them on the same side of the bracket to make sure there was to be an all HBCU national championship. This is a fact. I'm not making this up.
Yeah. And when we went at Tennessee State, they had us play against North Carolina A&T when we should have been playing somebody else.
Yeah. I think, initially as a fan, when I first came into the space, I wanted to see Jackson State against North Dakota State. I wanted to see Jackson State against the Montana States or whatever. But once I learned to appreciate the HBCU landscape and the HBCU experience, there's no other way to do it, in my opinion. Is to have the black colleges have a celebration of their season, right? And bringing all the people, all the eyes, all the HBCU fans, one place. And I think that's a matter of fact. There's some statistics out there that one of the highest viewed bowl games of the entire bowl season is the Celebration Bowl. If you take of course, the games that have playoff implications out of it, the Celebration Bowl is one of the most highly viewed bowl games of the bowl season. And so I think that goes to show that it works, and it allows for what we have as a community. And I think I wouldn't want to do it any other way now that I understand what it means. Initially I did have interest in playing the SCS playoffs and seeing how they match up. That doesn't really matter. I don't have much interest in that right now.
Rocky, I want to address something. Somebody said, and total respect with the BW Bay 51, what is the point of being an FCS program if you do not want the national title? Listen, I'm going to say this again. FAMU actually won it. FAMU has won playoff game. So we have competed at the level. But what I will say is, too, I also know it's not fair, and I will say this to anybody that makes an argument with me. Give Jackson State they 100, 200 million, that's old, Alcorn. Give FAMU they $2 billion. Give Tennessee State they $1 million. Give North Carolina A&T they $1 billion. Give Southern they $1 billion they owe. Give us our money that is owed to us. Then we will be on equal footing, and I guarantee you, Southern, Jackson State, FAMU, Alcorn, and A&T will beat all these bastards' asses if you gave us $2 billion. Now, how about that? Don't play that game with me when you say we want to play the best, but then you cheat us in the front. Let's keep it a buck. See, that's my problem with that. So nobody is scared to play it, but if you kill my resources, or you do like the state of Louisiana that cut Southern and Grambling's funding to a trickle, and then Louisiana Tech got a whole brand new stadium. Louisiana Monroe got a whole brand new stadium. And then you want Grambling and Southern to compete on that, and they don't get the same dollar amount per student that these schools got. But then you want to say, oh, it's all equal. It's not equal. So give me my $2 billion, and then we'll play that game. No, I'm not going to go for that, because like North Dakota State, they're the flagship school of North Dakota. The governor went there. You think North Dakota got to worry about any money? The University of Montana, the governor went to the University of Montana. You think they worried about any money? Come on, man.
Matter of fact, those schools, and quite honestly, they should be playing Division I football, to be perfectly honest with you. Like those schools, when you look at their resources, They should be playing, Division 1A football.
And they know that's what they're doing. They masquerade. Like I said, you give Jackson State, I tell you this, you give Jackson State Southern, North Carolina A&T, and FAMU that $1 billion, I guarantee you, because then you can't say nothing about the resources. You can't talk about, like Coach Cole talking about, this ain't working and painting all that, because the stuff would look pretty. And then we would have a van, because when you come on campus, you damn sure wouldn't want to leave after that. Come on, man.
It would change the fortune of the city of Jackson. You know what I mean? If you gave Jackson State $1 billion. You know what I mean?
I'm like, what are we talking about here? So that's why we always like to forget that part. You know what I'm saying? Kennesaw State, it is crazy. Kennesaw State got damn near 40,000 students. I think they moved up now, but they were masquerading as a 1AA school, man. Come on. They got 40,000 kids go there.
All right, Coach.
I'm sorry, Coach. That just because they
so you got to understand, Bishop. Like me, when I first came into the space, right? It was about the football. You don't learn the other stuff until you are in the space a while, and the inequity in resources makes it impossible, right, for Jackson State, FAMU, all those schools to achieve a certain level of resources. You know what I mean? It makes it again, when you look at it and you try to compare a school like Sam Houston to Prairie View. Now, you look at those two campuses, they similar, but when you look at the size of those schools, it's a vastly difference. You know what I mean?
You right there. Look at what they're doing in Tarleton State right now. I have a good friend whose son, Charlotte was backwater school. Dude, they're going to be Division I in about 5 years. But look at what they're doing in Prairie View, Texas Southern. They're barely getting money. But they ain't got. Tarleton State is a backwater school, has no academic reputation. It was a commuter school, basically. And what have they done? They've made it to pass Prairie View, a flagship HBCU, Texas Southern that's got a top-line business school and law school, and they're like, no, we ain't got no money for them. But they got money for Tarleton. Man, come on, man.
Yeah, they trying to grow that. They trying to grow that school out west. They're doing that with other. They're doing that with other schools. There's a school out there in Texas called the University of Texas Permian Basin that they're doing the same thing with. You know what I mean? So again, there's when you get to thinking it's just about football, I think you miss the point as a HBCU fan. It's about more than football, and I love the HBCU space because it's something that's ours that we get to celebrate all together. And so it's sports and Black people, two things that I absolutely love. And so I wouldn't want it any other way. This is our last call we're going to take right here, guys. Caller, you're live on the air on HBCU Coaches Corner. What's your name and where you calling from?
This is Byron Wilson Day. How you doing?
Go ahead. We say Byron Wilson?
Day, yes, yeah, BW Day 51 in the chat.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hold on, man.
Yeah, I know that. I understand the purpose of Celebration Bowl and that there's no money really being generated from the playoffs. But then, how do you expect to recruit against schools that are in those playoffs in your state that we don't seem to really want to play? Now, the MEAC has taken on a lot of these schools, the NEC, the CAA. If you're not going to compete against the best, how can you recruit against the best? I mean, I'm just asking.
Well, see, this one thing about HBCU schools. We it's our school. You know what I mean? And when our kids come on campus, they feel comfortable. You know what I mean? When you got it going in the right direction and you got your building clean and all that good, they feel connected some kind of way. So, and now that, of course, from the times, I was in school to now, you got beautiful dormitories on campus. You got some beautiful HBCU schools now that can compete. You got nice stadiums like Alabama State. You got Prairie View, got a beautiful facility. So we coming. We coming. You know what I mean? We in the first curve, and some of them was coming down the backstretch, but we coming.
Well, let me just say this. Let me just ask Coach Cole this, and then you can continue. Coach Cole, isn't ain't only a certain number of kids, even if I go to a Division I AA white PWI, that don't guarantee me an opportunity to play in the playoffs. Like, it's only 2 schools in the state of Texas. Of all the FCS schools we got in the state, it's only 2 schools playing in the playoffs right now. What are all them other kids doing?
Yeah, that's true. It's a whole bunch of states
and they
got
probably,
FCS
and they
programs.
probably going home. Tarleton and Abilene Christian probably ain't gonna make it past this weekend.
Well, see, Rocky, I think what, to the caller's point, is how do you recruit against that, right? I think, which again, and I'm going to 2 schools I love and dear to me, FAMU and Jackson State. Jackson State brings something very unique from a recruiting perspective that those schools that you're talking about in the playoffs can't say. So while, yeah, you might go play for the playoffs, Jackson State say, listen, we have produced more NFL players than those schools have. We have more Hall of Famers. Our fan base is bigger. Our education is more likely better. And you're going to be able to come and play for 30, 40,000, sometimes 50,000 in a stadium. And
you're graduating from Prairie. You graduate from TSU. It's a whole bunch of Sam Houston football players that just played there. I'll just leave it right there.
Yeah, and then FAMU. You come to FAMU, you're talking about the #1 public HBCU. You're talking about you're going to get a job if you graduate from FAMU. You're talking about playing, if you're from Florida, you're going to play Florida guys. You're going to go play big games. So again, to me, I think there's an ability to balance that off.
That's just a thing of semantics. You know, you got to be able to go sell your program. You know, it's about selling your program and selling you and what can we offer. I mean, you know, I'll beat any school like that on recruiting. You know, I'll come in there and you know, I've got some great players. You know, and I see what you're saying though. When you're on the outside looking in, you know, they can't use that little bit against them, but just coaches reel off a whole bunch of other stuff that
take them to homecoming.
Yeah.
Take them to homecoming.
12 o'clock noon during lunchtime at any campus.
Yeah, you're not going to beat. I went to Norfolk State. I played football at Norfolk State, so you're not going to beat the HBCU experience. I'm not going to argue with that. It's just that it seems as though, and I can be honest with you, many in the MEAC, when they came up with the Celebration Bowl, were not in favor of, because they were trying to build these programs, particularly in the early 2000s, to compete. Somewhere after 2010, something went wrong, and it just seemed like we were just losing constantly in those early rounds. The competition just changed. And then the Celebration Bowl comes along. It's almost like now we're in a competition cul-de-sac where we're just competing against each other. Now, I like the money, but I think the money is too small. You know, we as the Black community watch more television than any other group in America, but you can only get those small payouts for those 2 teams. We need more money for that.
Can I ask you something? Do you know how much money you get for winning in the playoffs in FCS?
No, you don't get
Nothing. You just playing to say I'm a national champion, unless you hosting the home games, and then they pay you for all your travel and stuff. You're not really making a whole bunch of money at all.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you know, that's what it's about.
And they only pay for travel for your football team.
Yeah, travel. Now they lay it out for you. You know, banquet. You go eat the best food. You gonna travel the best. Hell, at Tennessee State, we drove a bus over to Happy State. We didn't even fly. And but it was they rolled the red carpet out for us. They spent every dime they could spend. You know,
they were taking the hogs to slaughter.
Well, I said I'm gonna leave y'all with this. I'm not gonna take up all y'all time. I would just say that I just truly believe, man, and it's just a belief of mine. This is an opinion.
Hold on before you go.
Let me ask you something.
Wait, Rocky, before he goes. Wait a minute. This is very interesting. This is the second person from Norfolk State to call in, right? Is that
right?
So,
right.
Okay. So hold on. Did y'all have like a meeting together? And say, hey man, we gonna come out and talk about Norfolk State. Let me ask you a question. You're a Norfolk State guy. The other guy played. Did you say you played football for Norfolk State also?
Yes.
Okay. Who do you think will be a great pick for Norfolk State?
You're from out my mouth.
Yeah. Who do you? Yeah. Because tell us about that area. What do you think you guys need to do?
We got a candidate right here that's right here on the show. You know, There's a couple of guys that are from the area that are very interesting candidates. Norfolk State is interesting, man, because you have so many schools to recruit from, and it's a great talent pool in that area. I do not understand, and we have not understood for years, why it is so hard for a coach to win at Norfolk State. At some point, you got to look at the administration and what is their goal? Do you really want to win at this sport? Do you really want to be good? It's obviously that we protect basketball, but it does not seem that we've ever really had direction when it came to football. Harrison B. Wilson, which actually came from Jackson State in '72, he was the last president that we had that really had a vision for Norfolk State football. And once he retired, everybody that came after that really didn't seem like it. It's just a place where the band plays at. For the Spartan Legion to come out at halftime, and I honestly believe if it wasn't for our band, they'd probably be talking about getting rid of the football program. I honestly believe that because they don't treat it like it's special. They don't treat it the way it's supposed to be treated.
I tell you what, I've seen them against Florida A&M. Sheesh, man, they look good. I had to calm Rocky down. I said, man, they got this game. They got this game. I said, well, always size don't mean that they're gonna play well.
And when they started, they was putting belt to ass when the game started. Now,
well, I think the talent is here. The talent is here. It's the consistency that's needed. Why Coach Odoms was not able to get that going, we don't know. He brought in all his guys, all the guys that Coach Scott had. They were pushed to the side of transfer. He brought in all his guys, and it just seemed to be the same thing every year. The same type of coaching. I would say sometimes coaching mistakes, calls. It just never came together.
Was Coach Scott pushed out? Was he pushed out?
Coach Scott wasn't pushed out. I think Coach Scott would have, from what I heard, he wanted an extension off of that last year, and I don't think the AD was willing to give him a larger extension. He wanted some more years, not just a 1-year extension. He wanted something more than a 1-year extension.
Right.
So in other words,
that's a good program. You got that pretty stadium.
No, the AD didn't want to do that.
Hey, man, it's 12 o'clock over there on the East Coast, man. Y'all must be really fired up about Odoms being let go. Y'all must be optimistic or something. Because y'all, first off, y'all...
They on vacation, Rocky. They on vacation. Them boys, they got good now. They ain't working no more for the rest of the week.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Are y'all relieved that Odom is gone or something?
Yeah, man, we are, man. It was like you've been held hostage. It's like, honestly, a lot of us were ready for him to go year one after he blew them 2 20-point leads in back-to-back weeks against North Carolina Central and Delaware State and kept us out of the Celebration Bowl. Hey, man, he really left a bad taste in our mouth, and he had 3 more years to improve that, and it just got worse and worse and worse.
They were supposed to go to the Celebration Bowl that year. They win those 2 games, they go to the Celebration Bowl.
Wow, and he ended up losing.
We were sitting at 6-2. South Carolina State was fading that year. They started out real slow that year. We were sitting at 6-2 with 3 games left in the season. We were up on 20 points on North Carolina Central on their homecoming. We ended up losing in double overtime. We came back the next week, played Delaware State up at Delaware. We beat them 26-3 at halftime. We just scored another point. We ended up losing that game.
South Delaware State
Celebration Bowl.
He's not lying.
Yep.
Because everybody was shocked at South Carolina State, because everybody was like, yeah, Jack State's going to play Norfolk State in the Celebration Bowl. It was set up. Yep. Wow. Because they were talking about because he had just beaten Dion in the spring season.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So it was really a big letdown. Some people said Odom was given the key to a Porsche and he crashed it in the parking lot. And we just needed and it just didn't get better. It didn't get better from there. It just seemed from a recruiting standpoint, holes were left. Special teams was just very, very shoddy. You can't win in the MEAC, or I don't guess on any level of football right now, without good special teams. I mean, we can't snap the ball, we can't hold the ball, we can't kick the ball. We got a problem.
We had an interview with Trey Oliver, and Trey Oliver said that Tidewater area is his honey hole. So anytime he need a player, he go down to that Tidewater area and get one. So that's maybe why y'all can't get nobody, because y'all can't keep Trey Oliver out of that Tidewater area.
This is the thing about it. Years ago in this area, because I'm from this area, up in the side, 757, and Joe Paterno, would just mine this area for years in the 80s. All the players from DJ Dozier, Brandon Noble. I mean, he would just get All-American after All-American. He said in the paper not too long before before the incident went down to Penn State, he did a big article. He said, I never got a dud from Tidewater. He always came here to get players. They around here. They're around here. It's just that that's why it finds it's so hard. We find it so hard that we can't win at Norfolk State in football. It's ridiculous.
And Tech built their program on the Tidewater area.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Because Sign Spring, the head recruiter over there at Virginia Tech, all he had to do was stick the paper inside the door. Cats was signing around here left and right.
Yeah, Blacksburg ain't no great place for black folks. I'm just telling you, haven't been.
So what kind of coach you looking for, man?
We need a lightning rod. We need a lightning rod. We need somebody that can come in and ignite the fan base and win. Norfolk State don't need gimmicks. Norfolk State need wins. If you win, the fans will show up.
Let me ask you this here, because this was my deal. If Mike Vick was interested in coaching, would you hire?
Man, that's a huge question. If he was interested in coaching, I don't know what that decision would be. It's interesting. It's very interesting. It's tempting, but I can't say yes or no on that.
Okay.
How's the alumni base?
I like celebrity coaches, but it don't look like y'all have a resource problem. So that may not be what y'all need, but it definitely would get the fan base interested in the Norfolk program and nationally, and will get you guys national recognition if y'all hire Mike Vick.
How's the alumni base?
The alumni base is just tired of losing. We ready to start winning. And whoever can start winning in here got a home in Norfolk State University, because we got too much going on here to have a 30,000 seat stadium that we can hold that many people. I mean, they turned away so many people at homecoming. It was ridiculous because they were so slow at the gate. It's a gold mine waiting to explode, and it's been like that for years. It just takes the right person to win. You win, man, the winning will take care of the rest. Everything else will come. Everything else will come with
it. I got you.
Hey, well, thank you for calling. We're finna wrap it up, man. We appreciate you listening and staying on to midnight, man, over on the East Coast, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Good one now. Yes, sir.
I love it. Hey, I love it. Listen, man, you know what's so awesome, man, is when you got a fan base like that and they're searching for info. So this what happened. Let me tell you, Coach, you know this. So they get the tweet, the text, the phone call. Man, Odoms got fired. Hey, man, let me go on internet and see what's going on. So they start Googling, right? And they end up on the show, and they say, hey, man, y'all call one of these brothers talking about Norfolk State. And this Coach Cole, man, he might be our next coach. That's what I love. Man, I love them. That's the one thing I love about black folks. They going to find some information, and they going to sit back. So, man, for all the Norfolk State and everybody, man, we appreciate y'all, man, because that's just beautiful. I love it, man. And y'all come back every week. Now, don't be no stranger now. Like I said, we need to come back next week.
Yeah. We can fire you. We can fire you a coach. We fire Grambling the coach. We fire Southern the coach. We can fire you a coach now if that's all you need. Coach Cole, I don't have nothing else. Campbell, you got anything before we get out of here?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna say something real quick. A lot of people saw. I appreciate everybody for joining. I wish everybody happy Thanksgiving, because I'm gonna keep saying this, man. This is we're family. And I really appreciate that everybody takes the time to support the show, because like I told you, man, we old heads. We try to do it a little bit different. And, man, you got a lot of other people. They can give you a little bit more of that lightning rod, man. We're just going to have some fun. We're going to talk some facts, and we're going to listen to what you guys got to say. So I'm always going to tell everybody thank you, and I appreciate you, man, because this show means a lot to me. Coach Cole means a lot to me, and the history of our teams, because everybody knows I love all of our teams, all of our HBCUs, and I love all the people that attend them. So I just want to tell you, that's the reason why I told everybody, thank you for, joining. And I want everybody to have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. I want FAMU to win. If you're a Southern fan, I want your team to win. You're a Grambling fan, I want your team to win. But I just want to tell everybody how much we really appreciate you all being here. And like I said, how much it means to me for you all to take the time out your Tuesday night to come join us.
All right. Man, we're coming to another end of the show. Appreciate the support, the continued support. I didn't mean, or the guys, we didn't mean to have a resume on me. You know, it was unexpected. Sometimes, you know, these conversations lead down the way. I appreciate all the things that they said, but it ain't about me. It's about you, and it's about what we believe. Happy Thanksgiving. It's a time for family. You know, family is the ultimate thing about HBCUs as well, and that's what Thanksgiving is about. You know, I'm proud that our show is moving. It's moving quick and it's moving fast. I'm glad that we could reach out and we could talk about all the universities. Because at the end of the day, man, it's all HBCUs. It's about us. It's for us. And hopefully this platform can continue to push forward. But we need you. We need you guys to make sure that you tune in, subscribe. I know we come under Scotty's under his page, but let you understand, you know, Scotty is our friend. We take our hat off to him. He is the godfather of Black HBCU God. He started, you know, I mean, he really got the attention. So, but we got our own separate opinions about things, and that's what make this whole thing great, you know. But guys, take your time out. I tell you guys, I am tired. I've been traveling a lot. You know, of course, you know, I call games, I referee, I teach school as well, and as well as I'm a father. But so get some rest. You know, these last 3 days, eat a lot. You know, eat a lot, and nothing can be bad. Like I said all the time, if you feel yourself tired, and if you feel yourself at the end of the rope, tie a knot and hold on tight, because ain't nobody bad like you.